The show is going to run 20 years. It's going to be bigger than AB's Irish Rose.
Let's see.
And much more goyish, so it can tour.
Well, thanks for coming, Larry.
Tonight we're talking about one of two Linklater films released last year, Nouvelle Vague, which Linklater made about the making of Breathless as Godard's first film, and tonight's film, Blue Moon, which is about the lesser-known of Richard Rodgers' partners in songwriting, Lorenz Hart, who died in the street at the age of 48 after a long battle with alcoholism during a World War II air raid.
Came a lull, then Cordell holds and orders from above. I'm sorry, girls, put down your pearls, because now we're rationing love.
I don't know how we got Cordell Hull into Camelot.
Who cares? It's funny.
Both films are about the strange brew that is creativity and passion, and the incredibly volatile personalities that are artistic geniuses. Blue Moon takes place on the night of the Oklahoma opening, almost entirely at Sardi's, the restaurant near Broadway with caricatures of famous Broadway figures on the walls, known especially in the 20th century as a place where theatergoers and theater workers could mingle before and after shows. The film takes place after Lorenz Hart and Richard Rodgers' partnership had broken up, and he had begun writing musicals with Oscar Hammerstein instead. Who Hart believes is an inferior talent, although Oklahoma is said to be the most popular thing that Rodgers ever wrote. Starring Ethan Hawke as Lorenz Hart, Andrew Scott as Richard Rodgers, Margaret Qualley as Elizabeth Weiland, Patrick Kennedy as E.B. White, Bobby Cannavale, and Simon Delaney.
Just tell me, what do you really want to write? What's your dream show?
My dream show?
Yeah.
Oklahoma.
I mean, next.
Like a play, the entire film is staged around a single place, in this case, Sardi's, during the party after the musical's opening. This is called a bottle story, which is funny because we're following around an alcoholic around a bar for the entire thing. A bottle story takes place entirely in one setting. Lorenz Hart and Richard Rodgers broke up because Hart's drinking had gotten way too bad, and his creative habits became far more destructive than Rodgers could deal with. Hammerstein, although less gifted as a musical lyricist, was a far more reliable partner. As the drinking got worse, Hart also wanted to keep the satirical, irreverent style of their earlier plays, while Rodgers sought to evolve his work into something more emotionally resonant.
Larry, I want to write shows that have some emotional core to them. That's what I want. Hello.
Great show.
How are you? Thank you. Well, I'll take that. You're a tough critic.
Oh, thank you.
Remember, we established in the first scene.
Hart, rightfully, in my opinion, scorns Oklahoma exclamation point as Cornpone Americana, a bad show that's going to withstand the test of time only because it's entirely inoffensive. Rodgers and Hart's creative partnership is treated as a relationship that's broken up, with scenes between them that are equally as passive-aggressive and awkward as any breakup movie. Linklater also uses this moment where Lorenz Hart is spiraling towards his early death, with his best creative days behind him, to allow us to peer into the life of this brilliant, lyrical bon vivant, without needing to do anything like flashbacks or even tell the story of his life in a linear fashion. Hart walks around engaging desperately with other characters, monologuing about both the high points of his career, but also his ideas for the future that will never come to pass.
Look, here's what I'm thinking. The Adventures of Marco Polo.
Dick, wonderful show.
Oh, thank you so much. Nice to see you.
Just bigger than Jumbo, epic. A 3-ring musical circus. The show lasts 4 hours.
Like a long musical about Marco Polo that he paints for Rodgers. The film also takes place during one of the most active parts of World War II. Oklahoma exclamation point opened in 1943, and the clash between the reality of World War II and the superficiality of some of Rodgers' statements like, "I think every serviceman who saw the play tonight thought about what we're fighting for," and Hart's question, What do you think they're fighting for? Shows the difference between Hart's more cynical worldview and Rogers' attempts to transform himself into a more professional and superficial figure apart from Hart. More than anything else, the film is anchored in Ethan Hawke's transformative performance, looking like the 5-foot height of Lorenz Hart, wearing a bad comb-over on heavily thinning hair. Hawke's performance is incredibly expressive, flamboyant, and dynamic. One second he's kissing Roger and Hammerstein's ass in public. The next second he's trashing the show they just put on in private. For almost all of the film, it's Hawke's monologues as Lorenz Hart that really give the film life. Lorenz Hart was bisexual or very possibly gay at a time when that revelation could ruin public careers. There's a lot of speculation that his crippling depression and alcoholism was largely fueled by that fact. Linklater and the screenwriter Robert Kaplow were inspired by letters that a bookseller in Nyack sold to Kaplow while he was writing, signed Elizabeth Wyland. They create Margaret Qualley's Elizabeth Wyland in the details themselves, and they didn't have the reply letters that Lorenz Hart had sent to Elizabeth Wyland, if there were any. The Lorenz Hart of Linklater's fame is obsessed with beauty, whether it be a man or a woman. His exact sexuality is kept ambiguous, although in this film he flirts with men but is absolutely infatuated with the young Elizabeth Wyland. Sexuality is less important than Hart's quest for beauty and youth at a time when he's aging and fading away. In interviews, Linklater and Kaplow have repeatedly said when asked that the film says more about them, as any biopic does, than the characters or historical figures in the film. The most enduringly popular song that Hart and Rogers wrote was Blue Moon, but they also wrote My Funny Valentine, The Lady is a Tramp, Bewitched, Bothered, and Bewildered. They wrote many, many musicals, including A Connecticut Yankee, By Jupiter, Pal Joey, Too Many Girls, and The Boys from Syracuse. The film is up especially for Best Actor for Ethan Hawke, as well as Best Original Screenplay for Robert Kaplow.
What does Oscar know about turn-of-the-century Budapest?
He's gonna Americanize it. He's gonna modernize it. We're gonna set it in Maine.
Maine?
Before I introduce the panel, please like this video and subscribe to the Movie Night Extravaganza YouTube channel. Then hit that bell to get notified whenever we're streaming. Super chats are now open. If you have any pressing questions, send us a super chat, which helps me maintain the expenses for the show, which I'm obligated by the rules of the Geneva Convention to stop everything and ask the panel. Another way to help us out is to become a patron and give us money every month. In exchange, you get access to all of our after parties, bonus content, and we'll tell you even more movies we watched recently. Patreon.com/Movie Night Extra. We have a Movie Night Extravaganza Discord. There's an invite link in the episode description, and we have a Letterboxd HQ account. So those are 2 more places to follow along with us. Our show gets simulcast, or if we're not on it at regular time, played later on This Space. This Space is a working class independent media collective. YouTube.com/ThisSpaceTV. Subscribing really helps out, or even more, sharing content from This Space and encouraging others to do the same. By working together, we can break through the algorithm. Okay, let me introduce the illustrious panel. Conan Neutron is the co-host and senior producer for Movie Night Extravaganza, host of Protonic Reversal, an independent Film Critics of America film critic, and the frontman for the band Conan Neutron and the Secret Friends. Check out his music at neutronfriends.bandcamp.com. Kristina Oakes is a co-host of Movie Night Extravaganza, a streamer on Twitch, twitch.tv/cosmopolitics, a host at This Space, hosting Kristina's Corner, and is across social media at Cosmopolitics and on Letterboxd at Kristina. Forrest and Kristina have a second show, The Absurdity Space, live on This Space on Wednesdays at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific. Scott Interrante is the director of publishing and A&R at Strike Audio and the host of the podcast. This is the greatest song I've ever heard in my entire life, and the movie musical podcast, Big White Elephants, and also does the scores for reality shows. I, of course, am your host of Ambiguous Sexuality, Forrest Miller. Blue Moon.
It is a banger song, to be
Wait.
clear.
Bomb, 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 dang,
In all
dang,
forms.
dang.
Even the Bob Dylan version that we discovered when we did the watch party.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Who asked for that? Scott, welcome back to the show, man.
Bob
Yeah.
Dylan asked for that. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, Bob Wally, yeah, exactly. He was in it.
Yeah,
Neat
thanks.
answer.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited. Ethan Hawke is my favorite actor. I also love musical theater and Richard Linklater. So this is like right in the middle of my Venn diagrams. You know.
And how crazy is it that he had 2 all-time bangers, Richard Linklater, the same year? Like, you put out 2 movies the same year, and they're both in my top 20. They're
Yeah,
great.
he's-
Nouvelle Vague too.
He's great at like doing whatever he wants. Like,
Yeah.
you know, to go from Hitman to Nouvelle Vague to this, it's like 3 completely different things.
Yeah.
He can do whatever. You know, he's the best.
Yeah, I completely forgot that because we had covered it. Hitman was the movie that he did before these two. And,
which holds up. I actually rewatched it not that long ago, and I was like,
Yeah,
this is
it's
still
not
a
bad.
good movie.
Hitman.
But it's so like his project doing that, right? And the lady at the Berlin Film Festival that I was like interviewing him because I was watching an interview with Linklater, and she's like that movie feels like it's so big, and like that's your that's his version, obviously, of an action movie. And then this movie, but then also, I mean, Nouvelle Vague as well. Like they're both kind of compressed. They're very compressed stories, and he's back doing the Linklater thing, which is really playing with time more than anything. I mean, if there's a thread that really goes through, like even Dazed and Confused, it's like, oh, this is a day and a half for like on the last day of school. It's like even I would say that's like his most poppy project in a way. I mean, it's great, but like that's kind of his version of that. And even that's kind of playing with time in this way that like you're kind of with these characters the entire time.
Yeah.
Even that's kind of weird by sort of mainstream standards too.
Yeah.
Like it's a cool movie, but and the Before series, all of those. Boyhood is probably another great example of him playing with time. But
that's him like taking time like this. And
right.
He's doing barely roll along next, which is a movie that's going to take like 50 years to make because he wants all the actors to age along like the show does. And I'm like, great, cool. I can't wait to see it when I'm 60.
Because he like said, looked the way he did at Boyhood, and he said, "Hold my beer, everybody."
Exactly. Yeah.
I can do it for 60. I'm like, dude, who's going to take over if he dies?
I'm saying you look at the way that guy's kind of treated his body throughout the years, and it's like 50 years is like you're.
That's a bold move, Cotton.
Yeah. What are we, Richard?
12 years was already kind of pushing it. I mean, not to like live, but like I don't know, like who knows what the fuck
society collapse or
that's true. Yeah.
So I only knew Lorenz Hart as a sort of like a Wikipedia line, right? Like I didn't really know that much about. I knew he wrote, Blue Moon and like
good trivia kind of thing where it's like who was Richard Rogers' partner before Oscar Hammerstein,
and that conceit of it, which is that he's the guy that was the Pete Best sort of the situation. For writing all these musicals, and that that all happened, and the first one without him was Oklahoma with an exclamation point.
Fucking the biggest hit he ever did, and I'm not saying Larry was salty or owned or mad. I mean, maybe a little, but he was pressed.
I think it works so well as a conceit for a story to have something so talky. Where it's the night of that happening, and so you get
the premiere
trash talk,
right?
And very clever.
Reviews are coming in too.
Yeah. Like how that's done. I was like, God, what a great play. And you mentioned it in Forrest, and it's not like we hold any secrets about our dislike for the biopic genre. But we've talked about in the past that if you're going to do one, do it like this, where you do just a small moment in time. You don't try to tell an artist's entire
Springsteen, Sad Girl era, or even now, apparently Audrey Hepburn's getting a biopic specifically about the making of Breakfast at Tiffany's. And I wonder, are they going to have an Asian guy do whiteface to play Mickey Rooney in that one? Because I think that's what needs to be done here.
They should do whiteface on Jackie Chan or something.
That would rule.
I'm just saying they're gonna have that because everyone's like, how are they gonna address that hashtag that, and we're all like, oh, we all know what that is.
So I guess that would break the internet, by the way, but in a good way. Like,
the second thing you could do is you could have like somebody from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia do Asian face, and then be like, it's a meta nod to like
get it.
Yeah, well now those episodes are no longer on Hulu, and I'm mad, but like it does make sense that we're entering like in an era where we're still getting like the Michael Jackson biopic and whatever. It's like, the problem.
And each of these individual Beatles ones, oh my God.
I hope that's the nail in the coffin. Like I hope
so too.
I just wish it was the Beatles from Dewey Cox from Walk Hard. That I'd watch.
Nobody can do that. Nobody can do that better.
During that whole trip to India or whatever, where they do that thing, like that would have been a perfect biopic about that entire trip. Like that's it. But like again, in order to if you're gonna do a biopic, you gotta do warts and all like Elton John and make it like an actual musical spectacular. But then that got overshadowed by Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah. But I don't know what you guys. I mean, you guys can kind of answer this, but in my
something intimate.
This does a very good job of expressing who this is, why it's a big deal. Like within the first, third of it, like explains who this is, why this is a big deal, and then throughout the course of the movie, kind of explains what he's done and what it means to the world.
I feel like it has been.
Yeah.
So that's my question to you, Scott. So I was only a little bit aware of Lorenz Hart, but as someone who's on two ostensibly music-based podcasts, including one that's musical-based, like how familiar with Lorenz Hart?
Yeah, I mean, I guess probably slightly more, but not that much more. Like I think we'll get into this later, but like I really like the Rodgers and Hammerstein stuff. Even Oklahoma, but
the only one I don't like is the only one I hate.
the greatest musical ever. Okay.
Oh yeah, I never heard that before.
Okay, Forrest. Okay, let me give you Oklahoma.
I liked it when I saw
Cats.
it as a kid, and I did not care for it nearly as much when I saw it as an
Cats.
adult.
Pick one you'd rather watch.
What I'm saying is like
shoot the hostage.
One, like South Pacific, King and I, Sound of Music.
Yeah, Sound of Music is great.
Can't go wrong with any of those.
Yeah.
Just Oklahoma that like has this.
Yeah. But no, I was aware of the reputation that Hart has as like, okay, this is maybe more intellectual, maybe more clever lyrics, but from an era of like the musical as a genre wasn't calcified yet, right? Like it really was Oklahoma that like established what a musical is that we recognize today. And so like these songs like Blue Moon or My Funny Valentine like are more known as standards that like a jazz vocalist or a jazz band would play than they are as like the show that it's from. So yeah, I was not super familiar really with him outside of the big songs.
I was very familiar with him as a musical lover because I grew up on Broadway stuff. So when I was like, oh, Rodgers and Hammerstein, cool. But I mean,
it's the least surprising thing I've ever heard. Yeah, go ahead.
Obviously. So for like me, I knew Rodgers and Hammerstein first, but when I would listen to Seth Rudetsky on Sirius Satellite Broadway back before it was Sirius XM, him and Christine Petty would go on about like the classics, even before Rodgers and Hammerstein, which was, Rodgers and Hart. So like I knew songs, like I knew the show My Pal Joey, like there's people forget that Richard Rodgers had stuff before Oklahoma and they're still really good. I don't see them as revived as much.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's clear that Oklahoma did set the standard for Stephen Sondheim doing like West, because I mean, he wrote like 40, 50 musicals and most of them were hits. Richard Oscars and Rodgers and Hammerstein set the precedent for like the modern musical. And I feel like, it comes and goes, but like the formula has stuck after all these years.
Right. I mean, granted, it's stuck as a success. Right.
Most Broadway musicals now are either jukebox musicals or adapted from movies. I want to get away from all that and find more original content again, but that's where we are now.
That's one of the reasons I love things like Annette that kind of break the format and do something different, right? Which of course is the last one you're on, Scott, but it accidentally I watched Topsy Turvy, the Mike Leigh movie. I did not realize was about the Mikado and Gilbert and Sullivan, because you just don't think of Mike Leigh as being period piece. It's like there's a period and it's like working class England under Margaret Thatcher, right? Is like usually what you think of, like and I was like, oh, this is very timely because even though the Mikado especially was, which is by the way, tokenization, cultural appropriation galore. But that was something that, started years before, but was popular in a very different way and like hit very differently and had things that, again, Scott and Kristina, you guys are talking about as like what we think of as the hallmarks, the trappings, the things that happen within musicals, especially movie musicals. When we think of it, it really does kind of start with Oklahoma.
Diegetic or non-diegetic?
Sure. And that's why it's so great to have this movie take place like the night it opens. Like where...
I mean, imagine
and just relentlessly trash talk the entire time until his partner's in the room, and then it was great.
Let them do a movie about the opening night of Cats and everyone being confused that it got excellent reviews.
Yeah.
I would love to see that because a lot of people were like, "Really? Poems? What?" I remember I wasn't around, but I remember.
Think about Lorenz Hart and Richard Rodgers, their partnership, is it was also like the beginning of talkies kind of on in the movies. So they've were able to do like at least score and kind of create music for like several early films, like Mississippi with Bing Crosby is a big one. Like they had like a string of movies where actually Lorenz Hart kind of moved himself to Hollywood and made like a pretty decent substantial amount of money each time, at a time when like the rest of America was sick and starving pretty much. That was when he was doing well for himself, and then the rest of America kind of pushed past him, I guess, in the 40s, and he died in the gutter during an air raid drill. Like,
and that's kind of sad too that he died before his songs really became even more iconic, because up until then it was like jazz standard covers of his songs, but now we got the Marcells doing Blue Moon, Elvis Presley doing Blue Moon, Bob Dylan doing Blue Moon, like that. Well, everyone covering my Funny Valentine, and
that was a cut scene in Complete Unknown, by the way.
And yeah, exactly. and then you got the Mamas and Papas doing a TV special, doing the songs of Rodgers and Hart, doing "Sing for Your Supper." Glad to be unhappy, songs that are actually not
none of which he gets to see because he died before any of that happened.
And that's the thing too. Like a lot of people, because when I was listening to the Mamas and Papas, I'm like, but these are Rodgers and Hart songs that I wasn't even familiar with. They don't do covers of like Blue Moon or My Funny Valentine. They do some of like the deep cuts that they knew that they could become top 100 hits in their own way.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I mean, as Scott said, like those are the American standards. Like a lot of all of his songs from Blue Moon to My Funny Valentine, like a bunch of those songs, just completely separate from the musicals that they're from, made it into the American standards. And because of that, it's very easy for artists to cover them, because it's like that's like the American songbook. And people like Frank Sinatra,
Lady is a Tramp, My Funny Valentine.
Those were songs that were very easy to cover, that they didn't have like this huge copyright thing where you had to pay a large amount of money for them. And it's like, I'm covering the American Standard Songbook. You can even say it's basically like covering a folk song, but in like a more modern way. You could basically say, well, I'm keeping the American standard alive, kind of by doing like at the height of my popularity, doing a bunch of these songs that everybody knows.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is Sardi's Restaurant, is it like, have you been to that at all?
I have.
You know what? Oh yeah. Please talk about it, because I have not.
So Sardi's is a very iconic restaurant. Like if you have a caricature at Sardi's as a Broadway actor, you have made it. I know people personally who are on the walls of Sardi's. When John Lo Young made his debut in the Broadway musical Jersey Boys, he got his caricature at Sardi's, which is like unheard of. But I do like how accurate, and I mean, it's been one of my dreams to actually eat there. I just went inside and was like, can I just look at everything?
Just check out the vibe. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, this is too expensive for me, but I love it. But like, it's kind of like a standard, like,
it's been around for forever, right? It's been
around forever. It's kind of like, you've made it moment for Broadway actors.
And
obviously.
the original guy, who was obviously like an Italian immigrant, he passed away in the 60s, but then it got like bought right up by another owner who has kind of kept that tradition alive, because it's an iconic thing within. And the whole thing with Sardi's, which I remember, like I haven't been in it, but I remember that there was like a restaurant that they have all the Broadway caricatures on the wall next to the actual theaters in Broadway. And the thing about it is that the kind of the promise of it is, if you have the money and you can go in there and eat dinner, you can maybe see people that are on Broadway, the same way that it happens a lot of times in Hollywood or like LA, like that whole area, like,
or like if you walk in Hell's Kitchen, you might see Joel Grey walking around, because that happened to me when I was
Daredevil.
Because one time when I was going to watch, when I was
Joel Grey works too.
Yeah, while I was walking to the Colbert Report, I see an old man walking, and I'm like looking at my mom and I looking at each other, and I'm like, is that Joel Grey? Because I knew him from Buffy the Vampire Slayer before Broadway, and I'm like, oh. Damn.
Or the whole thing where it's kind of an inside joke to the point where it's been put on TV as like a thing, but like people are always like, oh, I've seen Regis Philbin everywhere in New York City.
Yeah.
He has like favorite burger spots.
Well, just because it came up literally just tonight, because I work in Hell's Kitchen, I was getting a cookie at Schmackery's, which is like the cookie place right over there that Broadway people go to, and I saw J. Harrison Gee, who recently won the Tony Award for their performance in the Some Like It Hot musical. So you know what? It's real life. We really see them.
There you go.
Yeah.
Something Like It Hot. That's one we should do. We've never.
Yeah,
have we
that
ever done
movie's
a Billy
so
Wilder movie? I'm trying to think.
Yeah, we just did Sunset Boulevard.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Oh,
yeah.
Very different movie.
Yeah, very different movie, but yeah. Yeah. Okay. So
we also got to do The Apartment.
I would love to do The Apartment. Apartment rules. So the set dressing for this kind of story is perfect, right? Like it's kind of like the time and location are perfect
They did on
for
a
like
soundstage in Ireland for that set.
Sure, you don't need that much. I mean, there's not a lot of locations. You got a coat room,
Yeah, which
you
is
got
why
a
I
bar.
don't get. Well, I guess there's some pretty heavy incentives to go to Ireland, but I don't like.
Yeah.
Part of me is like, they didn't need to go all the way to Ireland to do that.
No.
They couldn't film. I mean, they probably wouldn't be able to actually film in the real stories because it's like, look, we would have to remove
They
good
couldn't afford that.
a
It's
good
Linklater,
chunk
not
of like, we had to keep all
Nolan.
the caricatures that were around at that time because there's been a lot of people that have been at it. It's like, oh my god, it's 1940 whatever, and there's a Patty LuPone caricature.
Imagine
What?
actually you film inside of Sardi's, and then there's an actual version of like an alcoholic that can't get onto the place and just like dies outside or something, and it's like,
Yeah.
Man.
oh, we killed him.
Now,
Well, they also
Before
had
we-
to cut holes into the floor for Ethan Hawke to be short.
yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I want to talk about before we do like plot
Yes.
summaries. Like, Ethan Hawke is a pretty
He's a tall
average-
dude.
He's pretty tall.
Yeah.
And it's interesting all the blocking and like the camera and the angles and all that they did to make him be like 5 foot when he's
They were
like a
probably
foot
calling
taller.
up people that worked on Lord of the Rings. Yeah.
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 I feel like for most of the movie, it doesn't bother me. Most of the movie they have him sitting, right? So it's like fine. There
They
are
could just
some
make the tables
moments,
higher or whatever, the bar
exactly,
higher.
but like anytime he's walking, it kind of never stops being a little silly.
I keep
It's like, oh
thinking
my god,
of
he was that short. He's like Ariana Grande's height. He's 5
I
foot.
keep
When
thinking
I was like, no
of
way. I was like, no way, Lorenz Hart's that short. And I was like, oh shit, he was.
He was
Spaceballs yogurt with milk.
Yeah.
He's
He's like 3 apples tall.
Plain it's just plain Lorenz. Please.
Yeah.
My friends call me Larry. Also, I was distracted by the fact that at one point Bobby Cannavale goes, "Le," and I was like, "No, that's not you. That's Larry David." Come on, Larry.
Yeah. Isn't Bobby isn't he related to Lena Horne? I think he was like married to like a grand.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I thought.
That sounds right.
Because his son is, because I'm like looking because Sidney Lumet and then Lena Horne. I was like, there's a big like, with a lot of nepo babies dying. I'm like, oh shit, I forgot he's part of a family legacy technically.
Yeah, he's married into it, or was married into it.
Yeah, because he's got a son who also acts, who looks
Yeah,
just
I
like him.
think I remember like I can't remember what he was in.
He was in the Ant-Man movies, right? He was in the Ant-Man
I've
movies.
seen a bunch of stuff, but I can't remember why.
Boardwalk Empire, maybe.
I can't remember why I was watching. It might have been when we were doing like Dog Day Afternoon or something. But I remember I was watching something where he was talking about like the legacy of Sidney Lumet, and he's like, "Because that's my father-in-law."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Speaking of stage stuff, of the things he's done play-wise, he played Richard Roma in a revival of Glengarry Glen Ross, which I would have loved to have seen. That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
So they're
We're
calling
ringing.
to offer me tickets right now. But it's it's like I know that so of course Al Pacino plays in the movie very well, but I know
Well, we're
Liev
getting
Schreiber
heat too, by the way.
Liev Schreiber has played that role. Joe Montana, who it's like freaking, it's Joe Montana, who is David Mamet's Ethan Hawke for Richard Linklater. Thank you.
Yeah,
Put all that.
that's a good way of putting it, Conan. It's like this person. It's like
Which there's a great bit, I think it's Saturday Night Live, where Joe Montana is hosting, and like there's like a guy in the audience is like escorting his kid away. Oh, we thought it was Joe Montana.
Yeah. I love when
such
people are like,
a
this person is the same as this person's this person's this person's this person's, and it's like, yep, that makes sense.
It's such a dumb gag, but because Joe Montana is such a great stage actor, he sells it so hard, and it's really funny. So anyway, but so he's good in this. He's so great as the person that is being talked to 90% of the time. Plays off it so well. It seems like a bartender you'd like to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
He's the type of bartender who'll be like, yeah, I'll play closing time back twice for you.
Right.
I think a big I think he
Once
was
it's
a
'cause you like this
bartender. The real Bobby Cannavale was a bartender for a while, but he's also Ethan Hawke's
Oh, was he?
neighbor. They live
Oh,
next
dude,
door.
really? I didn't know that. Okay.
He's like, Bobby, I got a role for you. It's very simple. You
No,
play my
it
bartender.
pretty much was that because they live next door to each other now. And
I'm good. I'm psychic.
So I mean, Ethan Hawke has seen the dragon then.
basically, Ethan Hawke's big thing was that he
It's not a euphemism.
basically Ethan Hawke's big thing is that he said if he had said no, he knows that every time he goes outside to get his mail or like leave for the day, Ethan Hawke wasn't doing like I mean he was doing.
He'd be silently judged every time he like left the house.
he said that Ethan like a big reason Bobby Cannavale said yes immediately is that he knew that he'd make a beeline for him every time he goes outside to like get his mail. And Ethan Hawke was home and not doing very much. And so he's like, "Come on, Bobby, you got to be in our movie." And so he said yes immediately.
That rules.
Yeah. Well, it's one thing I really like about the script, which there are many things I really like about the script, but Conan, you're talking about how like we have this premise of it's the opening night of Oklahoma and we're with this character who sort of realizes his career, essentially his life is over, but it's also not entirely about that. Like they have all the Elizabeth stuff gives us another thing to be happening,
right?
And not that it's unrelated, because clearly like it's part of him processing all this other shit going on, but it just gives it a different mode, so it's not so one note. And similarly, it could be really one note if like the only sounding board he had was Bobby Cannavale, the bartender, but he also has this interplay with the piano guy. He has the interplay with E.B. White. Yeah. So like they find ways to
the delivery guy, the guy who delivers the flowers,
Who he was flirting with, no less.
Yeah. What do you call him? Sven, right?
Yeah. So great. And Kid Script said, "Oh yeah, come to my party, dude. I just met. And also, by the way, here's a shot. I'm just gonna watch you drink it because I."
But also, is anyone else coming to this party?
Exactly. Well, that's it. So I saw, actually, both times I saw this weirdly in theaters. Had a Ethan Hawke Q&A. It's my New York privilege here, but but he made a joke. He's like, clearly like Larry doesn't go to his own party at the end of the night. So like he's imagining like Sven showing up
with the freaking group. What are they called?
Exactly. And he's
bragging about
where is everybody? Like, what is
it's a delivery guy? Yeah.
Delivery boy.
Speaking of Sunset Boulevard, it'd be like that that party she throws where it's just the two of them and they have like a full orchestra playing. No, and I think that but you're right, Scott, because I think that's you have like a B plot and A plot that kind of intertwine. There's conversations, about. You hear about the Margaret Qualley character so much before you ever see her, but then there's.
But let me tell you about Elizabeth.
Yeah,
Elizabeth.
I love when he's like, "Did you fuck her?" And then he's like, "Please," to the guy on the piano, and he goes, "Did you fuck her?" And he goes,
yeah, great interplay there, and yeah, you're right that like it's a strong script, so all that stuff's like interweaving around, and you kind of don't really know where it's going to go at first, and it's like, oh no, it just stays in the bar. The only thing that's like not like in the bar is the teaser at the beginning, which again does the thing like it does in Sunset Boulevard, which shows you the main character dead before you ever learn anything about them. And but it works because it's one of those things. And so people that are like, oh, it's very stagey. Well, sure, it's a single location. I mean, that's what you do on a stage generally, unless you have like a lot of extra helpers to strike the set and rebuild it. But it works because the script is so strong. I think the performances really work, and he's such a irascible but affable character at the same time, and I think it really makes you want to know more, like what this dude's up to, like what happened, like why are you in this situation, and like what is anything going on with this girl? Does this girl even exist? Is this your Canadian girlfriend? Like what is this?
Which is what's crazy is that like you said in your in the intro, Forrest, like she does exist. Like we have these letters.
Yeah. One side of a letter.
One side of the letter, which is so interesting.
Yeah, where she's gushing to him. So but I'm just gonna like what I understand about it anyway. She's gushing to him about all this stuff and like really seems like she's very eager to talk to him. But that could be a one-sided letter exchange where a fan is writing to him and saying, oh, thank you for meeting me, my mom, like whatever, like, or it could be love letters, or it could be this friendship that's been struck up, and we don't know because they're like nobody has been able to find the other side of these letters. I mean, perhaps he burned them before he passed away, but perhaps they're somewhere. Perhaps one day they'll pop up and we'll find out.
Maybe they're in that alley. We don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that works, and that works. It's speculative. Well, we don't know if that's what happened. It's a freaking movie. Calm down, nerd.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
Like, there's some. On Reddit, there's some big Lorenz Hart fans who were very mad because they're
Lorenz
like,
Hart truthers.
Yeah. It's just on like our Broadway or whatever.
Oh,
they're like,
man.
this isn't what he was like at all. My grandma knew him.
Lorenz Hart truther would be the character Rod from Avenue Q. Remember how the musical If You Were Gay starts? He's like,
the first time I ever heard
the 1940s.
Yeah, the first time I ever heard of Pal Joey was the Avenue.
Yeah, it's from that dude, my bad Pal Joey. I love that too.
But I feel like Pal Joey is one of those things that's been referenced in so many things that like I just didn't like. I've known like it was a musical and stuff, but
like, that thing.
I feel like it's been ubiquitously referenced, but I'm always like I've never looked into it, because it's always in like a context that I'm like I don't know.
Yeah, which is what 57, right? Is when the movie is.
The movie, yeah. But it was on Broadway
Frank Sinatra and Kim Novak.
I think he didn't even live to see that. Like he died in the middle of the 40s, so it's like he didn't even see Frank Sinatra, starring in his.
Yeah.
Who catches some strays in this too, which is great.
Under Sinatra. It basically he died before he could actually see, get his
any
flowers.
of his stuff. Yeah, any of his stuff really get beyond just what was happening in the moment.
Because at least Richard Rodgers lived long enough to be like, I did a lot of good musicals and I was a success. But then, of course, he died at the point that Stephen Sondheim's career was starting to.
Yeah.
But Sondheim absolutely trashed Lorenz Hart, which is where that scene comes from, where he's like
with little Sheldon.
And it didn't happen.
He even takes that line in fucking in Funny Thing Happened all the way to the Forum.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is kind of like a. Like
a movie we should definitely do, by the way. I love that movie.
The MCU-ification of Broadway in this movie is it's like, okay, that's cute, but...
I feel like some of those moments, because there's a couple, I like most of the E.B. White stuff, but actually the Stuart Little moment is like a little too much.
Yeah.
And there's...
he came up with the idea of Stuart Little. Yeah, all right, let's...
Yeah. There's also the George Roy Hill moment...
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh,
and then the Stephen Sondheim moment, and you're like, all right, I don't know.
The Stuart Little thing gives me an eye roll, but here's the deal: if you think about like what the character is, what the not just Lorenz Hart actually was, but the character of Lorenz Hart that we're seeing in the movie, he's a serial exaggerator, he's a raconteur.
Yes.
So it's the way I looked at it and the way I reconciled it is like, well, like whatever. It sounds like something you'd be talking about at a bar. Oh yeah, did you Stuart Little? Did you know that I actually?
It was my idea.
Yeah. and so then that made me like it.
I do like the idea of E.B. White kind of being like on the same like wavelength as him.
Yeah,
he's like
sure.
He's not as flamboyant, but he does have like that dry sense of like humor that he can bounce off of. And there's like I'm like, okay, they could totally be like bros.
Yeah,
and I think we'll get into it with the plot summary too. But they have like kind of existentialist ideas that are like kind of compatible.
Stuart Little also did come out in 1945. So the timeline of those things, I mean, they just made it up, but the timeline of it does that. Like,
they needed something like, okay, we got to throw another person here. How about E.B. White?
Well, it is because it does a thing where he thinks of himself as a writer more than he thinks of himself as a songwriter, right? He thinks of what he does as writing, which it is, but it allows that to be kind of an organic thing where he's like, this is what we do, we write, rather than kind of having to ham fist your way through it, where it's like, I am a writer, I write, and that's what, and like, so it allows an organic kind of thing where his creative process in his mind is more akin to what somebody like E.B. White would have done than it is to like what we think of as like screenwriters or something like that.
Yeah, I also like there's a sort of at this moment, E.B. White, he's explaining like he's also at the bottom of his career, right? Like he's an essayist, he's doing some stuff, but he has not hit his success yet. And so you sort of see this like what if for Larry Hart, like if he had gotten his shit together, if he had stopped drinking for real, could he have had this second act in the same way that E.B. White, that we know that he goes on to have? So I kind of like
success and acclaim and within his lifetime and so on and so on. Yeah, and to have that, to do the work, because he is something where, and we'll get into the plot summary, I swear, but like he is a happy warrior. He likes doing, he not only likes doing the work of making these things, he likes sort of like analyzing them and talking about them in the scope of a career or a discography, let's say if you're a musician such as myself, that like he enjoys every part of that process, but that also enjoys like the luster and the allure of being sort of a loose cannon about it, like the bad boy of movie musicals. And then also he's a smart dude. He's a smart guy.
They also found an actor that looks exactly like.
Wow, looks just like
crazy.
That is crazy because I never have seen what that dude looks like. So yeah, he sees a kindred spirit in E.B. White and sees not only a bit of himself, but he sees another artist, someone that's doing art as opposed to what he thinks Hammerstein is doing, which is not art in any way, shape, or form, which is like hack work. Which is, and again, you really get to see the bitchiness and the two-faced nature when he's all like, "Oh yeah, it's so great," it's very memorable.
It'll run forever.
Yeah, exactly. Which he was right, but
he was not wrong about that. Yeah, but he was disingenuous with like, trashing it for maybe an hour before any of that happens, right? But
it's also, I mean, there's also these. It allows you to get the, and then I'll start on this, but the kind of the relationship between Rogers and Hart. Is like it's like a top. It's basically like a marriage, like a creative marriage. You have watched this. It's more relationship, and I think this says more about Linklater and his which he said he has been open about this. He said this says more about me than it does about necessarily the historical versions of these characters. But it's like his relationship, his creative partnership, is more like a marriage, and it's basically like watching somebody's marriage having fallen apart. And then seeing the aftermath of that more than it is what you think about with like, let's say, I mean, because you use Pete Best as an example, right? Like Pete Best kind of just fucked off and went back to, left the tour or whatever. They sent him home, and then he was kind of stewing about it. But the way that the story goes, you're not like, oh, he was in a 5-way marriage, and
it'd be closer like Steven Van Zandt and Bruce Springsteen. Right, where it's like someone that's like years and years of creative partnership. The quality is good, but like what happens in the creative partnership, you just get sick of the other person's foibles. You get sick of their.
Why do you think
as someone that has been in a van on tour for most of my adult life, sometimes you just get sick of looking at someone. Just them existing annoys you. You get to that point.
This is why the Mamas and Papas broke up at the peak of their success, because they were like, we were over before we even got our name because of affairs, drug use.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say there's a lot more going on there than just getting sick of someone. But
there's also famously Richard Rodgers, and there's a debate about how much of this is a bunch of like kind of Queen, like whether they're straight or not, Queenie guys kind of like just shit talking each other. But he was a very controlling, like his partnership with Oscar Hammerstein worked because Oscar Hammerstein was like incredibly like pliable and kind of just showed up on time.
Aloof.
His things. I don't think Richard Rodgers really cared that whether it was this great active genius, which Lorenz Hart obviously was a creative genius, but he was looking for something more stable because he was very controlling. He was kind of an asshole. He was kind of this workaholic, and he wanted a partner that he could kind of dominate. And he was never able to dominate this guy because this guy was kind of a mess.
That's why Rogers is first.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then with Hart started in on it before him, right? So there was an uneven power exchange to begin with.
Yeah,
and that's interesting. And just before we get into the plot summary, just want to say, in the arts, it is hard to overstate how important showing up is, like being dependable. And anybody that has a career in it will tell you that. That's like, no, because some people be like, yeah, he's a genius, but he's a pain to work with, or like, he won't show. Or
that's
how everyone, like when I was watching like a documentary about how they did the Phantom of the Opera, Anton was already losing it because he was a perfectionist. But Michael Crawford was nicknamed Joan Crawford in theater circles because he's a fucking pain in the ass to work with, because he does expect you to be like on top of shit.
Yeah.
Well, that's why. I mean, that's why the like difficult. Like when they wanted to get an actress just out of the business, they say, "Oh, she's difficult," and people wouldn't ask questions like, "Oh, are you trying to get a woman that has scorned you out of the business?" They would just go, "Oh, difficult. I know what that means. It's a code." A story that I was reading about that I wanted to add to this is So at one point when they were in Hollywood, I believe, I don't think it was a Broadway columnist, but it was like a bigger deal. It was like a Hollywood columnist came up to like as kind of Lorenz Hart was kind of fading away. Rogers was at like a big party or something, and a columnist walked up and was like, "I've heard a rumor that Lorenz is gay," and he slammed the guy up against the wall and said, "If you ever fucking print that, I'll fucking kill you."
Wow.
Yeah. What a good friend.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think he was thinking about it. I'm sure in the sense of like, oh, that might destroy us.
Yeah,
right, both of us.
Yeah.
Oh, especially back then. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But then you also like have to have a lot of sympathy for the guy. Like the guy had a bad drinking problem, but some of it, like if he was born at a different time and he was able to just, I mean, maybe not, because there were a lot of people that
it takes a while for those drinking problems to catch up with you, you know.
But like the source of a lot of his drinking problem, like some of it kind of like sexuality wise, right? Like he's keeping a big secret that you know that he's not really doing a great job at keeping, maybe, but like
it
never gets out to the press.
With the omnisexual thing, that's what Little Richard labeled himself as at one point.
Yeah,
that's what a lot of flamboyant men were labeling themselves out. Just be like, yeah, I like women too.
Although if people were whispering that I was gay, I would not name a song Tutti Frutti.
But it is like the arts are the one place where you can kind of get away with that, or at least certainly you can now. But like in eras and cities and that were maybe less erudite or progressive, it was like, oh well, they're an artist, whatever. That's what they're doing their own thing. That was just it was like a get out of jail free card for like anything that like didn't cross the heteronormative nuclear family kind of thing. Which again is just around the corner here, right? Because this is like mid 40s. So
yeah.
Also, there were other. I mean, I think that Lorenz Hart was kind of an observant Jew, and his mother was more conservative, and he lived with his mother and took care of her. So I think that there's more things. I mean, they were like his mother, I think, was from Eastern Europe, which is why they have the line about where he's like, you think Hammerstein would know more about Budapest, and all these guys are obviously very Jewish guys that, at least in the case of somebody like Richard Rodgers, is kind of trying to hide it to make a name for himself. You know what I mean? So it's like there's all of these kind of things that play that it's like, I can understand why somebody who's kind of observant in a religion and who's very family oriented, even if it's not like, the standard kind of family, would kind of have this sense of self-loathing. Whereas other people who weren't necessarily from the same background, but were on Broadway, were just open about it. And then people were like, well, they're on Broadway. Like,
but then there's also the rise of the names, like the name, the creative names being like a recognized name. Oh, I'll go see that, Rodgers and Hammerstein musical.
Right. Whatever they do, yeah.
Gilbert and Sullivan is another good example.
I'll see the Andrew Lloyd Webber Tim Rice musical. That's when Andrew Lloyd Webber actually had good materials, when he was working with Tim Rice. But then again, Tim Rice wrote some of the best, movie like Disney, along with Alan Menken, and but it's like
we could never do a drinking game where somebody drinks every time you mention Andrew Lloyd Webber, because they would never make it through the show.
Fun fact: Andrew Lloyd Webber.
You're not wrong. I'm just saying.
Birthday.
We're building up to finally have Trump on, and then
actually coming up next week, Phantom of the Opera. He's coming on.
We're gonna cover Gerard Butler, the perfect
talk about Begonia
ever.
It is a thing.
He's got the mask on and everything.
The name's literally the marquee names. Like that's literally kind of where that comes from. Like
right.
The big musical about Rodgers and Hammerstein.
But I mean, you have
and Gilbert and Sullivan predate it by a little bit, but it is something where your reputation, like the melding of the personality and the person with the creative art, kind of begins here as far as this works. Which
you have somebody like, I mean, Sondheim managed to kind of make his own name, the thing. Like you see like, oh, this is a Sondheim musical. You don't necessarily see Sondheim and then the next name after. I mean, you probably do, but it's not seen in that way, right? Like
unless it's directed by Hal Prince, definitely, because he was the Broadway director. But like other than that, it's like actors get to be star, but it's people more concerned about who wrote it.
Yeah. All right. Let's get started with this.
The 50 minutes into the show. Let's start the plot summary. Sure. Yeah.
So on March 31st, 1943, Lorenz Hart slips away from the opening night of Oklahoma. The new Broadway musical. His former creative partner cracked me up so much where he was like, "Oh, we want to talk about Oklahoma." Oklahoma, the new Broadway musical. His former creative partner Richard Rodgers is written with Oscar Hammerstein II. I bet Oscar Hammerstein the first was better at writing, but who knows? Hart arrives at Charlie's restaurant where preparations are underway for the opening night celebration.
Opening night. Catching strays on this episode, boy.
It's opening night. Remember the opening of the producers? It's opening night.
I do remember that.
I just watched the Mel Brooks documentary, which is amazing, by the way. And yeah, that's so it's very fresh in mind. Really good.
Cabaret's had 50 revivals on Broadway, but the most winningest Broadway show hasn't gotten one. The producers. Bullshit.
It hits a little too close to home, I think. Right?
Yeah.
It's the same. We talked about the May December about how it's like, ooh, like it's a little bit too real about like the exploiting the reality of a situation and bad actors attempting to do Oscar bait, so on and so on. But
trying to get through this synopsis.
I know. We're 2 sentences in.
We've made it. It's 15 minutes in, and we've made it. The first scene where
one paragraph.
Yeah.
At least it's the only place where he's not in the bar.
Phantom of the Opera's going to show up in a second.
The newly sober Hart holds court with the bartender Eddie. I can never remember his name. I know him as Bobby.
It's Bobby. Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't change it. Just made him Bobby. Bobby.
It's got the same onomatopoeia,
Bobby, baby. Bobby, booby.
I don't think I should serve you alcohol. It's not healthy.
Bobby, booby.
Yeah, at the piano player Morty, an enlisted sergeant on leave. They commiserate with Hart as he complains about the sensational success of Oklahoma, which he declined to write, and the state of his own career. Declaring himself omnisexual, Hart attempts to flirt with the flower delivery boy and reveals his infatuation with Elizabeth Weiland, a Yale art student, aspiring production designer. Let me tell you about
Elizabeth.
But it does work so well because you do get so much set up. Like, all right, there must be some dame, right? And then
I do have a lot of thoughts about Margaret Qualley.
There's nothing like a dame.
My first thought about Margaret Qualley, tall.
Tall the musical.
Yeah. But I think there's a way that could be deployed and not work and just get annoying. But I think it's there's just the right amount, and the going back and forth with that plot, and then the creative partnership, the art of creativity, so on and so on, bouncing all around and kind of circling back with this, tying it this to there. All of that works really well. It's just enough setup. It's just enough setup that, like, you can tell it's like, all right, I don't know what's going on with this chick, but it's probably not going to be good for him.
By the end of it, you realize like
nothing, which is the most heartbreaking of all outcomes.
Yeah,
right? And we'll get to that.
Yeah,
we'll get into it.
Yeah, after
hour 5,
correspondent and unconsummated. We don't know that yet. Wikipedia unconsummated weekend with a 20-year-old Elizabeth.
Spoilers.
Did you fuck her? 20-year-old Elizabeth, 47-year-old Hart believes this may be the night he fully wins her love. Elizabeth arrives to the party where Hart plans to shower her with gifts and even a card trick. I really like the flowers bit.
Yeah,
flowers.
He's like, he's just changing the cards.
Yeah, and even she's
she changes it back.
Like, yeah, she's like, you think that I got this, and Richard Rodgers gets the tiny little flowers, and he's like, yeah, totally.
This is what we call try hard.
Yeah, that's a good bit though, because it also shows because she's aspirational. Like she wants to meet Roger. She wants to get in. She looks like it as a career, having it in. Although having your mom be the person who throws all the plays is probably a pretty good foot in the door too. But
yeah,
and the detail they took about the mother working for the guild, because it is like that's how she had
Nepo baby, right?
Ironically, yeah. Thank you. Nepo babies, everyone. Andy McDowell, look her up.
Yeah, her mother, Andy McDowell, works for the guild.
Oh, that'd be amazing if they cast Andy McDowell as the Kids and Guild president. That would have been really funny, but it would have been unnecessary. I mean, all this stuff is good. You know, it's all set up. It's good though.
Meanwhile, he recognizes Evie White sitting nearby and seeks out his opinions as a fellow writer. I think it works because it is seeking out his opinions as a fellow writer rather than like because we get a very good a glimpse of how he sees his own role.
Mm-hmm. Right. By the way, that's like a half hour of the movie, just like which is like the fourth sentence in, where it's like okay, but there's so much kind of interplay that you got to like kind of read between the lines of things that are said, how things are asked, how things are replied to, so on and so on. It's very much like along the lines of. Like My Dinner with Andre is like a good example, right? Vanya, anything that's very talky, very, very. There's a lot of, like the enjoyment of the movie comes on how much you enjoy hearing people talk.
Yeah,
and if the answer is I don't watch this.
Well, yeah, but Ethan Hawke is like famously one of the most pleasant to listen to people talk. You know, like
yeah.
Yeah, like he has no filter too.
Just...
I love that, and he's doing like more experimental shit, like what was it, the Black Phone or whatever. Like he's doing like fun.
He did that movie with his daughter. He did with Maya. That was the.
Did you know that Maya Hawke is the daughter of Uma Thurman and Ethan Hawke, and apparently she has a brother.
And the brother,
Marty Supreme.
Well, they did that movie together, Wildcat. That was
the
Flannery O'Connor,
yeah.
which was pretty good.
Yeah.
But the press tour around that, where they was like hanging out and like talking about, it was like
stuff.
make a movie of this. This rules. Like the movie was good, but this is awesome.
I feel like we've heard just too much about Nepo babies or whatever. My thing is like, are they a good actor? If they're a good actor or actress, then I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
If they're bad and you're like, oh, this is somebody's daughter. Like I feel like the discourse really got sparked by this. A couple of things, which obviously, talented director. At least when she's not just doing.
Well, if Winona Ryder hadn't had that nervous breakdown, we could have had a different Godfather 3. Apparently, that's a movie that happened.
They never made a Godfather 3.
I don't think that's true, but
they wouldn't dare.
But also, too, Lily Rose
I
Depp.
thought I was out. They pulled me back in.
Lily Rose Depp was the one who said, I didn't get anywhere without my parents. And we're like, your father's Johnny Depp and your mother is like the most famous, like modern Paris singer model. Like you got, but also too, you paid your dues. You proved that you were actually better than your parents. So you're forgiven.
She also looks like she's carved out of marble and would be in the pantheon of gods too.
Her
so that
fucking mother has the bone structure of that. And I'm like, you just got your father's eyes. Great, cool.
I mean,
but like
peace and love, but
also I forgot Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman met on the set of Gattaca with Jude Law. I watched that movie in psychology class. That was a good movie.
We were talking about doing it on this show and we didn't for some reason. I think it didn't make the cut for Dystopia.
Well, also I wanted to get Lee Phillips on, and then he
that's right.
He fucked off to Canada to go work in like a coal mine or something.
Great usage of an awesome, iconic, and bizarre looking Frank Lloyd Wright building, which is the Petaluma.
Oh yes,
Center.
yeah.
It's really, and Gore Vidal's in that picture. Crazy. Anyway, we're off track. Let's go.
Later, Hart intrigues White with the story of a mouse who keeps coming back to his 19th floor apartment. White asks whether he has named the mouse, and Hart comes up with Stuart. White, the future author of Stuart Little. Yeah, then we got that. Jots something in his notebook. He jots down Charlotte's Web.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So that's something that's I wanted to quickly get into. Go, Kristina. Yeah, God.
Yeah, well, I think I know where you're going with Conan. It's almost like he's just like Lorenz. He sees himself as like that mouse. Like it's like almost like a metaphor in a way.
It is, and for me, I remember when that came out in 1999 because I was a grown ass.
The movie,
and I had read the books, but for me, B. White's always Charlotte's Web of like, that was the one.
That one makes me cry every time I watch it.
Oh yeah, it's a heartbreaker, right?
I mean, for me, it's the elements of style. I don't know.
I think we watched Charlotte's Web in second grade. I think it was second grade because my second grade teacher was just awesome. We watched a lot of stuff, and oh my god, all of us kids were crying at the end of Charlotte's Web.
I think I saw both in theaters when both came out. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and I only became aware of who E.B. White was as a person because Kurt Vonnegut gave him big ups. I was a huge Vonnegut fan in high school. Still am, but like really, especially in high school. Like I was obsessed with Kurt Vonnegut.
And the Stuart Little movie written by M. Night Shyamalan.
Is it really?
It is.
Wow.
Isn't Hugh Laurie in that movie?
I think, yeah. I think so.
He plays the dad in that.
I think he's the dad, yeah.
And then what is Jonathan Lipinski, whatever his name is?
Jonathan Lipinski, yeah. There's also a whole story about a missing, I think, Hungarian painting, like a masterwork that's in the background of that movie. There's a whole article about it that's pretty interesting.
I'm the mouse that comes from the beach that makes you old.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Gina Davis. I forget. Gina Davis was in
Hugh
it.
Laurie's in that.
Michael J. Fox, Nathan Lane. Oh yeah, he was Snowball.
Oh yeah.
James Jennifer Tilly, Jeffrey Jones.
I'm getting hit.
Forgot he was in that
well,
one.
we were doing so good.
Yeah. David Allen Greer. Chaz.
Isn't Nathan Lane the cat?
Yeah, he's Snowball. Yeah. But I remember being a kid and hearing that voice, and he's like, "Come on, Stuart."
It's no Getty, is it? Wow, Harold Gould.
Come on,
are we gonna do Stuart Little on this show? Is that what we're doing?
We really should. I can't believe this cast is so stacked.
Well, it was Oscar nominated, but it lost to The Matrix. I remember that.
Stuart, help me get up to the bird.
Was it really that good of a movie? I don't remember.
I barely remember it. I couldn't even tell you. I don't know. But the fact that M. Night Shyamalan wrote it is like, what? What are we doing? Crazy.
Like James Gunn writing the Scooby-Doo movie.
That one was actually good.
Yeah.
I'm a big M. Night Shyamalan fan, but that's a different conversation.
It's entirely. We do not have time.
We do not have time.
At the 1 hour mark, we absolutely do not have.
It's just funny to be like, back when M. Night Shyamalan was actually good. You're like, oh, what? Back in Stuart Little.
And
take it back all the way.
Yeah.
No, he peaked.
1999, baby. All right. So, arriving with Hammerstein and a crowd of well-wishers, Rogers pulls Hart aside to suggest collaborating and get on a rival of their show, A Connecticut Yankee. Big success. Hart pitches his idea for a grand musical about Marco Polo. Yeah, that's definitely going to be a hit.
Real working man stuff. Yeah.
But his struggles with alcohol and depression have strained their 24-year, that's a long time, 24-year partnership.
26 musicals. Crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
In 24 years.
Were they on speed? What were they doing? I mean, drinking doesn't, but anyway.
They didn't have reality TV, so they had more time.
Exactly. In the restroom, Hart
R.B. Lorenz Hart, you would have loved Survivor.
In the restroom, Hart tells Morty the story of his failed proposal to his former muse, Vivian Siegel, who did not love him, or at least not that way. Well,
which is true.
Foreshadowing.
So, on multiple occasions, he tried to propose to Vivian Siegel. That was like his big thing. And he's like, "See, I'm straight. I tried to propose to her. She just said no."
Right, because she starred as like Morgan Le Fay and as Connecticut Yankee, right?
Yeah,
not the Marvel Morgan Le Fay, by the way.
No, not the Marvel Morgan Le Fay. And then also there's that great they talk about it's like urination being a 2-act.
Yeah,
I was like, that's a great piss related quip.
Yeah,
frankly, thank you, piss everybody, thank you.
Oh, hey, there's literally a musical called Urinetown.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a privilege to pee.
The last things, two of the last things she did in the Vivian Siegel in the 1940s and 1950s, Connecticut Yankee revival, and then Pal Joey revival.
So they're both revivals. Okay.
Muse.
Well, and then also, so Morty just wants to get an introduction too, right? Like, I think it's funny.
Come on, Rick. Can I get an introduction to Richard Rodder? No, Morty, you can't get an introduction.
With the exception of Eddie, like everybody just wants something from him. Well, I guess E.B. White too. I mean, but it's
I noticed sad. Older characters don't want
it's the younger folks that are like, hey, I'm young. I can, if I have the right connections, I can make my way to Broadway.
And he's like, how's it going, fellow kids?
Exactly. How do you do, fellow kids? Oh, man.
Right,
As rave reviews pour in for Oklahoma, Yo! Okay. Hart tries to congratulate Rogers, who knows him too well not to recognize his disdain for the show.
Sees right through him immediately. Like, yeah, okay, sure.
Jealousy.
Yeah.
He knows.
By the way, Andrew Scott, great.
I love Andrew Scott. I forget he's Irish sometimes. He was the hot priest or hot pope or the hot priest.
And it does make me wonder. It was part of the whole thing, which because they were like shocked that they got Andrew Scott to agree. I mean, he was
because he's like a big stage guy too. Like
he was shooting the new
Knives Out.
Yeah, Knives Out movie.
Yeah. He's really coming up there. I remember when he was in because he's Irish. He was in the Delinquencies with Cillian Murphy, and I was like, "Oh, Cillian Murphy and Andrew Scott, sign me up. Let's go."
He was the really
Knives Out movie this year, and they managed to get him just as the Knives Out Wake Up, a Knives Out mystery.
Wake Up Dead Man,
the Alex Jones Knives Out movie.
Before he did Fleabag, he was on Sherlock, the Benedict Cumberbatch Sherlock, as the most unhinged complimentary version of Moriarty ever, which is how he came to my attention.
He's good at playing crazy. He's good at playing like guys who can snap. I've seen he was like that in Delinquencies, but his thing was like he was dying from like brain cancer.
But it also that's not all he can do. Like he was so great in All of Us Strangers, which I feel like
and this too, he's really contained because he's the one who's like, I'm professional, I'm even keeled.
Yeah,
and he plays so much complexity in like. I genuinely love this guy, and I genuinely have respect for this guy that I've worked with for 24 years. But also, like, man, like I have my own career, and like you keep bringing me down. Like I can't keep going down this road with you. And it's such an interesting.
You're like the anchor, man, but not in the good way.
Yeah, exactly the wrong kind of anchor.
He does not take the like. There's a bunch of times where it's like it's kind of like the Queenie thing, where it's like you kind of passive aggressively take a dig, and it's not like. Oh, I enjoyed Oklahoma, but I'm not trying to do anything that easy. I'm trying to do something. And he's like, this is easy. You think this is like he's listing off.
He's immediately just
and he's like, name the musical that you've always wanted to do. Oklahoma. He's like, after, not now. And I'm like,
defensive. In that moment, he's back to being guarded again because he's realized that this guy is taking digs, and he's like. Oh,
because he's been around him, probably talking trash about almost everything their entire career together, so he knows what kind of guy he is.
He probably
Andrew Scott, older than me, looks good for his age. He's like a year older than me.
Well, it's like Richard Rogers probably heard Lorenz Hart talk shit about like actual hit musicals that have probably been more successful than their musicals.
Right? Yeah. He probably heard him talk trash about everybody and everything. All the time,
and
they would have loved Cats for some reason because he knows.
Like, the thing is Hammerstein is not like younger than Hart. They're actually the same age, so it's not like another generation. Like Hammerstein had been writing musicals all this time too, so they probably have spent 24 years of like hearing Hart trash Hammerstein anyway.
Exactly. So it's like just coming on with like this fake, like, oh yeah, it's so great, like it's immediately. Doesn't fly. He's gonna see
you got yourself unlucky fuck. Anyway. Oh boy. Okay, so let's see.
Well, he contributed. He contributed to "Fly with Me," the Rogers and Hart. So he had contributed to musicals that they had done before.
Oh, interesting.
As like a junior kind of partner in their thing. Which, he's obviously they have the dig where he's like, oh, we're the same age in the movie too. It's
So despite their friendship, Rogers remains wary of Hart's drinking and unreliability.
No. You don't say.
It becomes clear that Hart's idea is fueled by his unrequited feelings for Elizabeth. Finding comfort with Eddie and their shared love at Casablanca, Hart signs an autograph for Elizabeth's friend, the aspiring director George Roy Hill.
Another MCU style appearance. Of course, director of Butch Cassidy and That's Kid, The Sting.
Yeah.
By the way,
entertainment. Anyway. By the way, R.I.P. Lorenz Hart. You would have loved Key Bumps in the Bathroom. You would have been unstoppable.
Exactly. I dig that, and that's one like it isn't overly spelled out or anything.
He's just like, you should write about friendship. or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It's
What
like,
if you
okay,
what if
if
you
you
had-
know, you know, you know.
What if you had two guys, two of the most handsome guys ever, and they're they're hanging out. Maybe they're cowboys, maybe they're hustlers. I don't know. Maybe they're both. But
Spitballing here. Yeah.
You love to play the piano. Maybe they know Marvin Hamlish.
But yeah, George Roy Hill appears in this picture as well, right?
Yeah. And
That's,
so Hart swallows his jealousy to congratulate Hammerstein, who seems like a nice guy. He seems like a gentle giant, harmless. Who was planning another musical? What is that other musical? It's Carousel with
Carousel.
Rogers, and introduces his young protege, Stephen
Young Sheldon.
Sondheim, who probably, if you think about it, outshines all of them because he wrote like 60 musicals, and most of them were hits, and Tony Award winners, and Olivia Award winners, and he's and I could go on about my love of Sondheim. Can't wait for his movie to happen.
I was thinking about right around. I think
he's tall. He was tall.
The same weekend back in December or whatever that Conan, you sent over the Blue Moon one because it hadn't come out on Netflix yet. So we saw.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
We had the classic screener. I watched the Ernst Lubitsch, The Shop Around the Corner.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
It's like the classic, it's the Hungarian play, like Budapest play that was Americanized, and then they put Margaret Sullivan, Jimmy Stewart, and Frank Morgan from play the Wizard of Oz as these characters that are all supposed to be these Hungarian Jews in this Budapest neighborhood, and then they're like, but they all sound American as fuck, and they just once in a while it's like Budapest, I'm walking around Budapest tonight.
I'm walking around Budapest. Yeah, like it's super goyish. Yeah, absolutely. Well, but that's again, like look at lots of pictures around that time, right? It was something, and that's what started the thing of anglicizing Jewish names and things along those lines, which is
I think I'm gonna have some goulash tonight.
So it's like Ethan Slater's Ethan Slutsnick. They changed it from Slutsnick to Slater. I'm like, I feel like Slutsnick sounds cool if you're a dude, but not if you're a woman.
Yeah. I just call him SpongeBob.
Hey, get out of here, you slut.
Yeah, there you go. He answers this
Slutnik. Get out of here, you peaceniks, you slutniks.
Yeah.
All right. Hart pulls Elizabeth into the coat room for a private conversation. Indeed. As she confides in him about her tryst with a fellow student. This is...
I think it's a 9-minute coat room scene, by the way.
Yeah,
It's incredible.
It's an incredible scene. And there's so much it's a great soliloquy for Qualley. It's a good theater of the mind that we are acknowledging in the scene is being used as theater of the mind for Hart, who is both like jealous, but of which part?
Yeah.
Right?
And the thing about Yale, which I think makes it such an interesting thing in this, right? It's the most waspish of the Ivy Leagues. Mm-hmm. So this character, and Elizabeth obviously is a very waspish name. So these characters couldn't be from different backgrounds. Where it's like Lorenz Hart is like this incredibly Jewish closeted gay man living in New York City and kind of only surviving in that way. And then this is kind of like a more waspish person whose mom works for the guild, and she's able to go to an Ivy League school, and she's at the frat parties, and they're not letting like a Jewish girl into the frat party. So it's assumably speaking, she's like a more of a waspish character. And
it's especially with the blonde hair they give her and everything. Yeah.
Which it all works. It's very believable. Hart is heartbroken to hear that even though the boy has abandoned her, Elizabeth is hopelessly smitten. Also,
ugh, girl, what is wrong with you? That's
go
abuse.
Yeah, but in my head, I'm like, oh, what's wrong with you? But then I'm also this is a 47-year-old man in the coat closet.
Find someone better. I'm sure there's a girl that she can have some secret lavender relationship with. It's 40s.
It's funny that he's in there and she's talking about how she's in love with a boy her age at school, and it's in my head I'm like, no, go for our friend, the balding 47-year-old guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's likable and he's drinking himself to death. And maybe you know what? Maybe you should go for the guy that.
Yeah, the bitchy midget. Yeah, go for him.
He can climb you like a tree.
Oh, wow. Okay. She explains that she loves Hart, but not that way. And
I want it that way. mean,
which is like it's perfect with the because he's telling Morty in the bathroom like
he was
rejected by Vivian Siegel.
It ain't nothing but a mistake.
And it has the best line where this really is the best line. Where one of the, I mean, there's so many good lines, but he's like, I actually asked a woman to marry me, and he's like, can you imagine that? And he's like, I don't even want to dream that I have the confidence to ask a woman that.
Yeah, exactly. He is further hurt when she mentions his rumored homosexuality, which, again, it's like, okay, wake up. As promised, Hart introduces Elizabeth to Rogers, but is dismayed when Rogers gives her his private number and whisks her away to his own party. Did anybody think that wasn't going to be the outcome?
Yeah.
Because
fucking rake.
The actual dude.
Yeah, but I was looking into his history. I'm like, did they add this? Because I don't feel like no real mentions of affairs, but they probably wanted to add something to make him more like, what?
One Hart does a thing like, oh, I don't see your wife. Is she around? Did she come out tonight?
Yeah.
No, but the thing is, there really is like stories of Richard Rogers just sweeping through and taking the women away from like his collaborators. You know what I mean? Which, I don't know if it ever happened to Lorenz Hart because I don't know what women Lorenz Hart really brought around. But they did say like one of the most honest parts of the movie in terms of like the actual history is like Richard Rogers being like, "Oh, a beautiful girl.
That happened. Yeah.
Want to get into my limousine?"
Yeah. Exactly. on this night where I have this hugely successful show that everybody loves. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I get it. The allure.
And he's like, "Hey, buddy, I'd let you into the limo, but no space."
Yeah. But you should come. You should definitely come.
You know where I live, right? You know where I live.
Yeah, you know where it is. You can find it. Hart prepares to leave. Morty plays Hart's greatest hit, Blue Moon. Gotta play Blue Moon, Morty. What if it was that version, by the way?
I don't think I know the word. Yeah, you do. But Morty, we practiced before, Morty. You gotta play it. You gotta play Blue Moon, Morty.
What if that was like how that version came to be? Was
Rick, I don't know. Everyone's gonna laugh at me. No, Morty, go for it. Play the song, Morty.
That's a beautiful scene, by the way. Not the scene Forrest is talking about. The actual
very
scene.
Sentimental.
Very. Is not there.
I think that really works because as much as he and in the summary, it doesn't even mention how he feels about the song, but you get the whole thing of like it wasn't even called that. He wanted to have this more esoteric.
You say the worst line I've written.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I mean, I was asking you about this when we were talking about during one of our Oscars things. I was like, I think you've had enough success with different songs, but it's like imagine if there's just one overriding song that kind of people rush to as your first thing, and it's like it would get old really fast. You're like,
and especially if there's a line that you felt like wasn't your best or that was like dumb or like I could have done better. But then also, a difference between a good and great songwriter, in my opinion, is that you can recognize what's good for the song. So it isn't necessarily like, look, man, when Warren Zevon is good, Warren Zevon is good. But there's a lot of bad Warren Zevon. Is it clever? Sure. Do I want to listen to it? No, man. I really don't. He's a very clever. I would love to hang with Warren Zevon, but I don't want to listen to more than like 3 or 4 of his tunes. And there's stuff where it's like that's objectively dumb, but it's brilliant in the song.
Yeah. But as he's walking out, he also says, "It's so much better than Surrey with the fringe on fucking top."
That's right. Yeah, he gets in that dick. So Hart stays for a drink with Eddie as the staff close the restaurant.
The other line I want to take quickly with the Oklahoma thing is he's like, by the way, the corn is as high as an elephant's eye is an objectively stupid line. I'm sorry.
Which... I mean...
even as an Oklahoma Laker, I will admit that the imagery
line.
Is weird there. Sure.
Like why would you have an elephant?
Lorenz Hart, you were right.
Hart stays for a drink with Eddie as the staff close the restaurant, regaling them with another story. Yeah, again, and that's when you think about him as like an addict, right? Like as being an alcoholic. He's also addicted to being like the rock on tour, to be the trash talker. He was like, oh, sure. Oh, I couldn't tell that story. Okay, fine, I will. He's like that kind of like
But I mean, that's the thing about alcoholism versus other
Is
other
Blue Moon a tragic tale about a short king? Kinda, yeah.
Kinda. Short King has been.
But
Glory days are behind him.
the thing about watching somebody drink themselves to death versus if you watch somebody kind of shine bright, burn fast when it comes to like a heroin addiction or like other forms of method, like hard drugs, right? Like it's a social disease, and one of the reasons that it's so fucking hard to quit is that you don't have to just swap out alcohol for no alcohol. You have to like completely change the people you're around, the places you're around, and I mean,
change your entire like. I knew someone who got a lot of trouble here, and she went to jail. She left this town, but she wants to return because all her family's here, and I'm like, I get it, but
you have to change all of those things no matter what you're getting clean from. But specifically with alcohol, I think it's interwoven into your social life in a way that
my dad replaced drinking with fishing.
Well, and so that's what I'm getting at is that the drinking isn't his only addiction.
Yeah,
he's also addicted to being the center of attention.
Yes,
he's addicted to like what small successes he has had in the past.
Ego.
He gets a certain amount of ego out of it, even though he constantly is like, oh no, I could have Blue Moon. Oh, there's all these reasons why it's but this is pretty good here. Like he's got it so down because it is something that's a big part of his identity. Because think about what else he has in his life, right? His life is the art. And his mind has been taken away from him without realizing that he's the one that's culpable for it being quote unquote taken away because he was just, disrespectful to his partner.
Which I think later on in the life of somebody like this, right? AA can function in a certain way where you're creating this community that somebody like that who is drinking themselves within this community and within needs to be that center of attention can thrive in something like AA perhaps, or like in these sobriety groups. But that's not really a thing yet.
We're many years away from that, right?
Yeah,
I think is it the 50s that kind of comes up if I remember correctly.
Yeah, well, I think it starts in the 30s, but doesn't. Yeah, it really.
It doesn't get the right because then
it moves on a parallel track a little bit to like the CIA kind of stuff, which
yeah.
But about that. But
connect the lines, people.
Before I want to mention Stephen Sondheim again because again here's a list.
Take a drink.
Of his musicals that he's done: West Side Story, Gypsy, Funny Thing Happened on the Way to Form, Anyone Can Whistle, Do I Hear a Waltz, Company, Follies, A Little Night Music, Pacific Overture, Sweeney Todd, Merrily We Roll On, which Richard Linklater's directing right now. We'll see you in another 70 years. Sunday in the Park with George, Into the Woods, Assassins, Passion, Roadshow, and here we are.
By the way, he turns
the Woods. I forgot about
the funny thing about Sondheim in this, he turns him into like young Sheldon.
And also, he takes that line that he hates into like a moment from A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum.
Yeah.
But he's
honestly, it's crazy that it's not actually Ian Armitage, the actor who plays.
I know,
right?
Take him.
He dresses him up.
At that point, you might as well.
Yeah.
Scott,
he's a theater kid too.
Yes, his father is a well-known Broadway actor. Like he did his own, like before he did Young Sheldon, he did like his own theater reviews for like BroadwayWorld.com or whatever. So it's like you couldn't get him.
Yeah, I guess because they're shooting in Ireland, they just got some Irish kid or whatever.
Young Sheldon. Hi.
Yeah.
like a
young Seamus.
Yeah, young Seamus.
Killian Sullivan. That sounds like if I was on the spot gonna make up an.
You were making it up.
Killian
Sullivan. Is
it with a C or a K, Conan?
With a C. With a C.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. They're bringing it all back home. 7 months later, Hart drunkenly collapses in the street and dies a few days later in the hospital. Rogers and Hammerstein become Broadway's greatest partnership. Blue Moon.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that there are probably
he went out the same way Bob Fosse did.
Like when you look at
he would have definitely got Me Too'd.
Like there.
He would have.
He Me Too'd himself. That's what all that jazz is him just being like, wow, I'm such
one gigantic Me Too accusation.
I'm gonna level it on myself.
Yeah. Check it out. I'm gonna make it into a big romp.
And it's like one of the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah. And those is like, ooh, okay.
But like there's a lot of people that become like in film or in like theater or something, right? Like power couples, and like you don't think that much about like the person that they were definitely married to before and like what happened to that person. Sometimes they became like big in their own right. But sometimes you see somebody kind of fade away, and it's like then you see this great power couple emerge from like the ashes on one
like
side.
Angelina Jolie and Billy Bob, right? It's like, oh yeah, that's right. That was the thing.
Fosse, Bob Fosse, Gwen Verdon, Sarah Brightman, Andrew Lloyd Webber. I mean, he wrote the family opera for her.
To wear each other's blood in a vial around their necks, and now multiple celebrity couples are like, aren't we weird? We did this. It's like I want to see you do heroin. I want to see you
people
heroin.
Like it's so funny too. Like people always ask Bill Bob Thornton about that, and I'm like, they both were young and just in love and doing something crazy. Like just leave them alone.
Like drugs.
Like heroin.
Exactly. Turns out drugs may have been involved.
And Motherhood returned her.
And then Billy Bob got kind of sober and started
and then remember
Kaiser Blade. Some people call it a Kaiser Blade. I call it a sling
blade. And then,
and then everybody got mad at Angelina because Brad Pitt ditched Jennifer Aniston for her. And it's like,
and they're fine. They're friends now, despite the allegations.
These are very attractive, very rich people. It's gonna be fine, people.
Yeah.
Don't get so invested in this.
Well, you can't forget about Billy Bob Thornton's new show, Landman.
He's the Landman.
Yeah, I mean, even Broadway has power couples, whether they're actual like married
he was
couples.
Great in Fargo, the Fargo TV show. Like,
I know. I
really
love that season.
Or music and lyricist types. I
love what he said there. It's just so fucking creepy. You see there, it's like the human eye can see more shades of green than any other color. Why is that? And at the end of the thing, you have fucking Martin sitting there, and he's like because that to escape from predators, because it's like we lived in the forest, and he like looks at him and it's like, oh fuck. He's
who's also a good Broadway? I mean,
good stuff.
A good Broadway duo: Marshall Brickman and Rick Ellis.
I feel like you have your own show down there. What's going on in that show?
Well, I'm just pointing out,
it is more relevant to the movie at hand, to be fair.
No, than Billy Bob Thornton saying Stone Cold Lions and Landman. Fair enough. All right.
They're like, but Marshall Brickman, he knew John and Michelle Phillips before the Mamas and Papas, and apparently him and Rick Ellis are working on Mamas and Papas musical, and I'm like, you've been saying that for 20 years now.
We're going left field. You heard it's more relevant, and then you were like, "Oh, I could add more stuff about the Mamas and Papas."
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Well, and I wonder if that has something to do with them doing all the Rodgers and Hart stuff too. I wonder if that background, having that be around,
Sing for your supper, and you'll get breakfast.
Yeah, like I wonder if that's sort of like the etymology of that.
I mean, they did Jersey Boys, which a lot of people were like, yo, it's another jukebox musical. But then they're like, oh,
I think it was Bobby Cannavale who said that, actually.
Yeah. People were like, oh, this musical is actually about the group? Who would have thought of that? And I'm like, yeah, no shit. Stop making Mamma Mia Part 3. Stop making Good Vibrations. Stop making All Shook Up.
Quantumania, I believe is the
subtitle
for
that one, right? Do jukebox musicals? Just make them bio musicals.
Mamma Mia 3, Quantumania. Thank you. Come on.
Yeah, Meryl Streep is dead, and yes, she's coming back apparently.
Mamma Mia Infinity War.
Yeah, exactly.
One thing I do think is interesting about the movie Blue Moon is so
Mamma Mia Doomsday. Okay, go ahead, Scott.
So there's this dichotomy where like Lorenz Hart is talking shit about Oklahoma the whole night, right? And he's making good points. Like we talked about the elephant's eye and all that kind of stuff. But like,
yeah.
But it's interesting when he gets into that mode or that phase where he's talking to Hart or to Rogers about his idea for this Marco Polo musical, and you're like, wait, some of these ideas you're saying are pretty good, but most of them are really stupid. And
that would be like the same shit you would critique Oklahoma over. It's almost like he's not.
But you're the one having the idea, so it's obviously good.
Actually, you know what's not? It reminds me of lyricist Charles Hart, who did like some of the original Phantom of the Opera stuff that seemed very cheeky, and then they brought in that other guy to write the rest of the lyrics. Be like, yeah, we got to make it more serious and romantic. It kind of it's like that. That's what Lorenz Hart was giving to me.
Well, it feels like a lot like kind of like the Gilbert and Sullivan kind of stuff, where it's like a sprawling adventure musical or something.
Yeah,
right?
and it's because
totally.
because we're really seeing this divide between like what the musical becomes, which is so much more integrated into story and character and plot. And so like Hart spouting off as like, oh yeah, it's this whole big adventure, and then we have these racist cannibals or whatever. And we do this or whatever. Because to him, like that's smart satire.
Like,
Richard Stigl had to sweep
we
in and
will
fix
have
the
a bunch of
family opera libretto.
We're gonna make the Mikado look woke, kid. It's gonna be amazing.
So it's interesting for him to be like, this is, you know, his vision of what is more sophisticated, erudite satire is actually like in retrospect, like no, like that's like
that sounds really
crass, stupid, you know.
Well, the whole thing is that one thing is that I feel like he's kind of riffing on like the South Pacific kind of thing, like where it's like kind of this like more an adventure style, or the King and I, right? Like it's kind of
You're gonna wash that man right out of my hair.
But I also think that like he's kind of just like he's desperate, right? Like you're seeing something born of out of desperation, that he's just swinging for the pitches here because he feels like his work has been attacked, because basically Rogers is like, no, this is too silly. I'm looking for something emotionally resonant, and then it's
which
like
he says like 3 times, and Hart just completely ignores him. Like,
it's
but
like,
it'll be very clever.
We could do a whole thing where people are just
not
going
looking for
Marco Polo.
Yeah.
Well, because he's attacking his style almost in a way where he's like he's like this is really silly, this is satire.
You're not doing anything of substance.
I'm looking for something emotionally resonant, and it's like I'm looking for something more mature, and he's like, oh, I can do mature, but his version of mature is like seeing cannibals, and it's like I don't think you're getting it, buddy. Like,
and
they
this is where I will
split apart creatively down the line, you know, like
I want to, you know, just very lightly, because this is not an episode about Oklahoma, but just to like lightly defend it, right? Because what they do, like with this musical and then the rest of their career, Rodgers and Hammerstein, like is changing the form into being, like we were saying, like more plot driven, more like integrated into characters. And like, yes, everything Hart says about Oklahoma being like, oh, this false nostalgic for this America that never existed, like all that is true, but also Oklahoma, like I think is darker than they're giving it credit for, and has like real ideas about class and violence. And there's a whole weird, like the main character tries to convince the bad, quote unquote bad guy, who's like clearly developmentally disabled,
trying to convince
to like kill himself. There's like all this stuff that like it is in there, and like I don't know, whatever. So that's just my very light defense.
When we did our Discord watch, I was like, the one part I do like is when he's trying to convince Judd to kill himself in the bar.
Because that's crazy.
And he's like, it's such a good fucking scene. Like, because I haven't seen it on stage, but I've seen the movie a million times. I think that's why I fucking hate it. I've just seen it too much. But it's like he's convincing him, and he's like, he's doing like the poor John is dead, and he's like, everyone's gonna love it. Everyone's gonna say, wow, we should have treated this guy better. Everyone hates you right now. They fucking hate you. They think you suck. They look at you. You're fucking ugly. But imagine this: you hang yourself, you kill yourself, you're dead in the barn, and then everyone goes, whoa, that like this guy. I feel bad. We bullied this guy to death.
And then he kills him anyway.
I still cannot believe that Roger, the most well-known version of Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella, is the one with Brandy, Whitney Houston.
Good.
And no one bitched about wokeness, because how the fuck does a white man and a black woman make a Filipino son? By blood.
The 90s were woke. People just don't remember. You know?
It was, exactly.
And it's literally the best version of Cinderella since like the TV special from the 60s.
They just called it political correctness.
They certainly did. I remember that. Scott, didn't you guys in Big White Elephants and you and Grace do Oklahoma, like your second episode or something?
We did, we did it early. And I mean, I think the movie is okay. There's some stuff I think that's like really good about it, and then other stuff that's like, I don't know, didn't quite work. But, you know, it's a classic for a reason.
It doesn't offend anyone. No.
Getting back to Rodgers and Andrew Scott, like last point before we go into one-liners, is that he makes a special point of being like, I want to work with all kinds of writers, which is something where it's like, that's not something that Hart wants to hear. He wants to like, no, I want you to just this is an aberration. You're gonna come back with me. Then we're gonna like do all this. And we're gonna write Marco Polo and have a bunch of singing cannibals. Okay, that's sure.
That would have closed opening night. That sounds like a show from like the producers of Max Bialik stuff would have wrote.
Exactly, Matt Bialik.
You can make more money with cannibals than with a hit.
So we should cover that, by the way. Not the recent one, but the original one. Where's he going? Oh, yeah. But he's not hearing him. He's listening, but he's not hearing him. He's listening to him say that, and he's
like,
clearly saying like, we can still work together, but I am going to work with other people.
We can do it.
Need to accept that.
We can do it.
Yeah. And he's not accepting that. He's not accepting that in any way, shape, or form because he has his idea of what he wants it to be. And again, coming from the perspective of he kind in his way sort of mentored Rogers to begin with. And doesn't want to let go of like having like the power dynamic of that. And he feels like he's out of control with it. And you learn so much about these two guys and these years that they've worked together just with that interaction.
Yeah.
Which is great writing and great acting as well.
He's like, babe, we can still date. I just want to see other people.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
But it's not unheard of, especially when someone is like, going and getting drunk at 11 a.m. when you're trying to work.
Hammerstein was working with, other people while they were working with us. Like they had parallel tracks basically.
Yeah. Do we want to talk about Margaret Qualley? Because
you're right. We actually didn't. And other than thirst posting in the comments, we should at least give some.
Well, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills because I see a lot of people that really think Margaret Qualley is not good. And I don't get it. Every movie that she's in, it completely works for me. I think she's incredible. She's so much better than her mom.
Yes. Remember when she did that Tarzan and Jane and Glenn Close had to dub her voice because she couldn't do an accent?
But try to forget. I've got nothing against Andy McDowell.
Liking in Fosse Verdon, which I was like, perfect casting because she kind of does emulate her really well. But like
Andy McDowell, Andy Liz is like, oh well, my cousin's Andy.
Yeah. But I think Qualley is at both an it girl and also takes the craft of acting very seriously.
Yeah.
And she's also done a lot of supporting. Like I don't feel like like even the Substance is like that's technically a supporting role.
Right. Absolutely.
And just stuff that she likes. I'm a huge Poor Things fan. Her part is not big, but she's obviously just wanted to be. It's like this is badass. Like I get to like
and she was in Kinds of Kindness too, right?
Exactly. Which her being in Kinds of Kindness.
But I think her in the coat room is so interesting because I've seen some people say like it's not very good, especially you're acting against Ethan Hawke or like Adam Scott or Andrew Scott in this movie, but I think what she's doing is so interesting because the character herself is trying to perform, right? Like she's this young girl talking to Lorenz Hart, this like huger than life personality, and she's telling the story, and she's clearly like, I have to tell this story really well because I'm performing for like the storyteller, right? And she's not quite as good at it as he is, but like the acting performance nails that, I think.
Well, and I think you're so right, Scott. And that goes back to what I was saying with May December about Natalie Portman in that movie, who's a great actress portraying a not so great actress and trying to be a great actress. And that is really hard. It's like when somebody is a musician and they have to like portray a musician's not that good. It's kind of hard. It's not that easy to do. And I think she's great. I mean, I wasn't aware that like people were like down on Margaret Qualley. Like, I think she's consistent. I think she's good in whatever she does. I have nothing. Like, I can't even think of anything that I didn't like her in. Like, even things where it's like I didn't like that, but I thought she was good in it. Like I don't know, like what the Trisha Cook, Joe Cohen movies,
which I kind of like those movies, but I get it.
I get what they're going for. I'm out.
Yeah,
but
totally
like
fair.
Peace and love to everybody who is enjoying those films, and they're clearly meant to be a certain thing, and they're doing that. But I think she's shown considerable depth. We were talked about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood to close out last year, and it's crazy that like all of like what we think of as young Hollywood now is basically in that movie.
Tarantino nailed it with that casting. He saw
it's the very definition of like, oh my god, I'm tired of seeing like the same 5 people. I'm like, you would not have liked the 1930s because Clark Gable and Joe Crawford did 8 films together before he ever did Gone with the Wind.
That's right.
Seriously, you would get tired of seeing Joan Crawford, Betty Davis, Marlene Dietrich. Like you would get so tired. Greta Garbo, you people would get so tired of seeing all their faces. Imagine living in the 30s without social media and having to see all of them.
I know,
just having fewer too. Yeah.
I've seen people say that about the those Beatles movies coming out and
Brat
like
Pack.
whatever we think about them, but like people saying, oh, like these are all like the hot up and coming, like they should have gone with unknowns. And I was like, hold on. You people are just too online. These are unknown actors.
Yeah. Paul Mescal is not that famous, people.
All due respect to Paul Mescal, who I love.
Yeah, he's great.
He did great in that Gladiator musical. I love it.
And like George McKay, like these are unknown.
Harrison,
ask your mother if she knows who Barry Keoghan is.
Absolutely. And
Keoghan.
I love that Anna Swai's getting a bigger role. Yoko is a crazy flex. That's an incredible glow up.
Are they going to show that Chuck Berry moment where he's like, "Oh Jesus, someone shut off her mic"? Ah!
Oh yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait till like 2029 or whenever that film comes out.
They're gonna have. I want them to do a. Oh wait, I want them to do a movie about John Lennon and Yoko Ono's one shit kid that's sitting there worried that like
he's not gonna get the one that's anti-woke.
Yeah, he's worried that he's not gonna get into parties if not Julian Lennon, the other Sean Lennon, where he's sitting there and he's like, I'm not gonna get into parties if they forget me fucking dead. and he's like, I'm sick of all these pronouns. Where are all the pronouns at?
All right, look. Everybody loves talking trash, including the character in this movie. But the best place to do is, of course, Letterboxd, the social media site.
He would have killed it on podcasting.
He would have killed it on podcasting, absolutely. Letterboxd, a social media site for film lovers to talk at with and to each other about the films they love, maybe the films that they didn't love, maybe the films where this invoked Danny DeVito should have played hard, which okay, that's a decision. And of course, everyone gets to have their say. It's a bottom-up democracy. Everyone gets to chime in and opine about the movies, not just the Siskel's and Eberts of the world. This is best expressed succinctly, where they're collected weekly by yours truly for Forrest and the rest of the panel to react to, laugh at, and with. These are the Letterboxd one-liners for Blue Moon. Let's roll them. They do an MCU-style Stuart Little name drop in this.
They should have they should have like a cut scene, like a post-credit scene where it's just the mouse, like
Stuart Little will return.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, where?
Stuart Little, Quantum Leap, whatever.
Oh boy! Finally, a movie about a guy who hates Oklahoma as much as I do. That's Forrest Salt.
Oklahoma. I like that he calls it that. I don't think he calls it that in real life.
Probably not. Quite possibly the saddest movie ever made for nostalgic theater kids who become middle-aged bisexual alcoholics. Yeah,
it's a specific niche, but you'd be surprised how many people are in it.
Yeah.
I can't believe Ethan Hawke's best performance is a movie where he says the sexiest thing on the planet is a half-erect penis.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about that. Is there a lot to say about that?
There's a lot to talk about. Yeah, but that is a thing that is said in this picture.
It's like a half erect penis. That's a promise. A fully erect penis, it's too much. It hits you right in the face. A half erect penis. That is the promise of romance, of sex, of love.
Yeah, that's a hell of a quote. Just Ethan Hawke queening out for 2 hours, and we love it, folks, don't we?
He even does like the hand motions. He's like,
"Oh yeah,
let me tell you." And then he's like, because like the world's straightest Sardi's bartender who's like, "I don't want to hear about penises anymore. Don't tell me. Just tell me that you fuck her. Don't tell me about penises anymore. God damn it! I don't want to hear about penises anymore."
Yeah, well, we'll say Oklahoma with an exclamation point notice. Fact, any title that feels the need for an exclamation point, you want to steer clear of.
Yeah, and it's been a lot of musicals since then that have done that.
Well, Merrily We Roll Along. That was an exclamation point in the right there. Carousel.
On time.
Exclamation point.
See what you did there?
There you go. Good. Ethan Hawke and Richard Linklater are the Ben Affleck and Matt Damon for sad people who cry while eating ice cream. That's underrated. That's a good one.
You can see him. You can see him being like, "Oh, he quit drinking, so he's just housing a bowl of ice cream."
He's just got that Haagen-Dazs or whatever the equivalent would be, just chowing down.
Haagen-Dazs! Exclamation point. Ben and Jerry, I don't know who you are, but you guys make a good bowl.
It's going to evolve into Trump with that voice. But anyway, whatever. Nobody told me Ethan Hawke was going to be a Hobbit-style short king in this.
He's so fucking tiny, and then they give him a gut, so he's tiny, but he's fat.
Yeah.
And he gets up, and you're like, "Oh man,
combo.
this guy looks like a couch cushion."
Oof. Let him up. Jesus.
Margaret Qualley's like 8 feet tall, and he's tiny, and he looks like a couch cushion. JD Vance tried to stick his dick in Lorenz Hart.
What was he, a couch?
I said he looks like a couch cushion.
Yeah, that's there you go. 100 minutes of shit talk about Oklahoma. My heart is full.
Conan, did you write that one?
I think that's Forrest Hall too, actually. Yeah.
It was a collaboration. Collaborative effort.
We take turns hating Oklahoma.
I said 100 minutes of shit talk about Oklahoma, and Conan said, "My heart is full."
Exactly. We're real Lorenz Hart and Rogers collab.
And then Scott wrote underneath, "I kind of liked it."
Yeah.
I don't actually hate Oklahoma. I'm annoyed by Oklahoma. There's a distinct difference.
Yeah, I get that.
And I liked it as a kid. I just was it did not hold up for me as an adult.
I watched it too many times, I think.
Yeah. Need a young Sheldon style Sondheim spinoff stat. Yeah.
See, someone else caught on to the young Sheldon.
These are just observations we made in the show. So that's hey.
Young Sheldon.
Young man.
I'm not a huge Sondheim fan, but I would watch that, I think.
Excuse me.
What,
He's only written some of the best musicals ever.
Yeah, but Conan doesn't like musicals, so that kind of makes.
What's wrong with West Side Story?
Moving on. I've been 6 characters in this movie, and I want to kill myself.
Morty, come on, play the piano, Morty, come on.
Yeah, there you go. Those are the Letterboxd one-liners for Blue Moon. Blue Moon. Please find the show on our Letterboxd HQ account at Movie Night Extra, where we're all the stuff, the episodes that we cover on the show. We have stuff there, attendant short form content, materials, writing, all that good stuff. Follow the show there. The exasperated Sardi bartender. That's Forrest, always Flacco, your host over there. He is logging stuff both related to the show and that isn't related to the show, so he's a good follow on the old Letterboxd. I am super annotated. That's a good thing, isn't it? No, it isn't. At Conan Neutron, you can find me doing the highbrow, the midbrow, the populist fair. Follow me along for the Criterion Challenge. I'm about a third of the way done, I think, so I'm well ahead of par, which is good because I'm going to be out of it for like a month. And a couple other journeys, things along those lines. You can find me on there. Don't have to do the whole thing. I don't have to do the whole thing, do I? Blue Moon, Kristina on Letterboxd. She is logging both your favorite movie musicals and other things as well when she deigns to do so, especially in this very busy award season. Scott Interrante is on Letterboxd as well. It's your name, I think.
It's just my name. Yeah,
it's your name. Easy enough. So go follow him. Scott's a great follow. He gets to do a lot of the cool New York film events. I always love seeing your logging stuff at the festivals and things along those lines. That's a good way to stay ahead of things is follow Scott Interrante. All right, let's hit it with the plugs, please.
If you're watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe, and then hit the bell to get notified whenever we're streaming. And we'd humbly request that you watch the video to the end, because it helps us with the algorithm and helps more film fans to discover the show. We're also monetized. If you want to get your chat questions definitely read on stream, you can always send us a super chat, which will help us keep the show going. Every cent helps. If you're watching on Twitch, you can gift us a free sub on Amazon Prime with your Prime membership, but getting subs on Twitch is always appreciated, and it helps to follow us on there as well. We also have an audio feed, which is available wherever you download podcasts, if you prefer to listen to podcasts rather than watch the stream. That's updated usually the same day we stream, but watching on YouTube and Twitch is the best way to get the show first, live as it happens. If you want to support us with a monthly donation and get access to all of our after parties forever, which go patron only after we do them, you can become a patron at patreon.com/movie night extra. Link is in the description for that. It really helps us keep the show going since we do have some expenses to make this happen. We also have a Discord community. Link is in the description for that. We sometimes watch movies we cover on there. We get into conversations about everything from film to TV shows to related podcasts. We even have a Discord channel for memes. It's really fun on there. You can find us on all the social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter, and Threads. You connect with us on all of those. Talk to us. We'd love to hear from you. Lastly, we recently made a TikTok at Movie Night Extra where we're putting up short form clips from the episodes. Okay, passing this to Conan so he can tell you about his music and this week's Protonic Reversal. Conan, who's on Protonic this week?
That's right. So we got the Chris Spencer from Unsane episode is up and out, and the general feed as of this morning. Tom Monahan from 1001 Album Complaints and The Chop, who will be coming on this very show to discuss Ghostbusters because they just wrote a Ghostbusters-themed record, concept record, and it's great. He's on, that's in the patron queue right now. Also, one of the hosts of the 1001 Album Complaints podcast, which, conflict of interest alert, I am on next week talking about Rock from the Crypt, Scream, Dracula, Scream. So stay tuned for that, dropping on Monday. And then I've got the Drum Corps collective. There's a record called Drum Corps that has David Silver of Season of Risk and Ian Prince of Bird Hands, a few other, Jason Gerken of Shiner. And it's a drum concept record. And if you've seen any of the stuff from Minneapolis, with the drummers playing outside the hotels while the ICE agents are trying to sleep, that's Ian. Wow. so they're going to be on Thursday in the live slot. It's a really cool project. It's the record is out in time for Record Store Day. All four of them are people that I would just have on normally on their own, but they're here specifically to talk about that. Interesting to have like drumming as a form of social protest. I think that's kind of cool and interesting. ProtonicUniversal.com for that. $1 a month for Patreon.com/ProtonicUniversal advance access. And there's a lot of cool stuff before I come out on tour. Pretty sure Dwayne Dennison of Jesus Lizard and Tomahawk's going to be on again before I leave. Might be afterwards. They just announced a huge Tomahawk tour as well. And Falco from McCluskey definitely is going to be on next week. And there's a couple other things that are going to be happening as well. Because I'm doing all this because it's time for Conan Neutron, The Secret Friends to be on tour. So, of course, we're going out with Red Cross most of the month of March and April, going out to the Little Steven's Underground Garage Cruise. Yes, that Little Steven, the one with the scarves, the one from The Sopranos, who also has a Sirius radio station. Long Beach sold out. Tickets still available for the other dates, going fast. 3 shows with Mike Watt to start off, LA, San Pedro, and Yucca Valley. We're going to be playing some new songs. Vinyl of Way of the Neutron available. The blue is starting to run low, but neutronfriends.bandcamp.com to pick that up. I'll be shipping them out until basically the Wednesday before we leave. Some new shirts coming, things along those lines as well. Neutronfriends.com. Come see us. If you're at any of those shows, hit me up. If I can put you in the list, I can. Don't ask me about the cruise. That ain't happening. There's like a friends and family discount. It's like $400. I'm like, oh my God, Jesus Christ. But you also get to see like the Sonics and like Social Distortion and so on and so on. It's pretty stacked. Whoops. That was.
What I was out. They pulled me back in.
Yeah, exactly. Although it won't really be out on a cruise. So, but Caterwaul announced today the first 10 bands. We have Dazzling Killman, Digits, Heat, also Mike Watt, Missing Men, Muscle, New Brutalism, Point Line Plain, Season of Risk, Stress Positions, and Tongue Party. Caterwaul.org. 3 days in June, 5th, 6th, and 7th. We have another like pretty banger booking that we did not include in this announcement, so I'm pretty excited about it though. Caterwaul.org for that. Get your sure, yeah, why not? We'll do a girls against boys thing. We'll have 2 bass players. So Caterwaul.org for that. I'm going to be on Film Splaining with Martin Strange, which a friend of the show, Marta Jovovich, was on to talk about Mikey and Nikki. I'm talking about All the President's Men, which is a movie I very much love, and one of the craziest years for movies ever, 1976. And wow, can I tell you, watching this now, like how amazing it was to see, first of all, see like competent journalism, but then also see repercussions for a corrupt president. Sounds nice.
Yeah.
Sounds nice.
Well, one of the things, right? Like it's the president kind of at that point was like, oh, well, they could kick me out, and if I don't resign, and it feels like we've gotten so far past that.
Apparently not.
In Trump, like with Trump in the last thing, it was like it's like, well, what would happen if Nixon just stayed? And it's like, well, now, I mean, you know, they're very different situation in Congress, but like, it's just like, this apparently you could have just stayed.
Well, All the President's Men rocks. That's a great movie. So
I remember we talked about The Candidate, and we had that clip where
that's right, yeah.
Redford's talking, and I love fucking listening to just Redford just go off about stuff, but he's talking about how he found out like we obviously all know about this, but he found out on the train they were doing like a train stop thing where they were stopping in each city, and he would promote the movie and hop back on the train. And obviously, like, you know, it's kind of sending up George McGovern, and there were people mad at him at the time. And he's hopping on the train each stop, and he finds out on the train from somebody that the story of Watergate broke.
Candidate, underrated movie. That's we covered that a long time ago. Boy, I was still thinking about that. Was our historically least watched or listened to theme month ever, which was all about electoral politics, right?
Somehow way more watched than anything in that during that season. The midterms happened, I'm pretty sure, while we were doing it. And the midterm, us reacting live to the midterms
was like way more popular because we did like Bob Roberts, we did The Candidate, we did Head of State, right? If I remember correctly. Like we had like I felt pretty good about it, but there was like, people just didn't want to hear that. At the time, they're like, we don't want to hear about this.
There's something I wanted to talk about still with Redford and that whole thing, but I was thinking about The Candidate so much this last election season because of Zoran. Like in my head, I was like, is Zoran going to win the election and just sit there and then go, so what now? Like
what now? Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah, totally. I mean, it looks like he's got a better handle on it than that. But one of the great movie endings in my opinion.
But you have to imagine that, like like Bob McKay probably figured it out, right? Like, or maybe not, but you know,
one would hope.
I mean, if John Fetterman can figure it out, if they can drag him by the fucking leash around the Senate, Bob McKay has to have figured it out.
He had to wise up eventually.
He at least could put words in the sentence.
Conan, what other plugs you got?
Yeah, I was gonna say we're still in my plugs, by the way. We haven't even done final thoughts yet.
5 minutes.
That's about it. So yeah, tune in for I'll put the link for the Film Splaining episode when that's up. We're doing it tomorrow, and it should be good. 1001 Album Complaints episode, Rock for the Crypt, drops on Monday. Kristina, what do you got?
I'm probably gonna stream in a few hours to go over the State of the Union,
I had successfully forgotten about it.
No one's really talking about it, but I'm ready for my algorithm to shift.
Well, it's one battle after another length. As soon as I heard that, we'll probably look at the highlights tomorrow.
Have you found that to be true?
Yeah. Also, Bridgerton, the rest of Bridgerton season 4 returns, so I'm gonna be occupied 3 a.m. on a Thursday morning, so that should be fun.
Nice.
Yep. And I couldn't do my show today because I had to clean because we got the maintenance guys coming to do the
you're putting a Russian gulag against the hat.
Yeah, basically. When I get a deadline, I'm more motivated to do stuff. They're doing like the pest control and changing the filters, so it's like I have to clean.
Big filter's coming around. Big filter doesn't want you to know that you never have to change the filters actually.
I found if it's one filter after another. Do you find that to be true?
No. His thing with the filter was really.
And clearly the BAFTAs wanted to do publicity for that film, I swear, and they did a bang up job with that publicity.
Yeah. I mean, look, people know what that movie is now.
Yeah, they certainly do.
At the expense of hurting literally everyone in that situation too. Like, good job, British. Good job, guys.
Well, they wanted to distract from the fact that they just keep having people resign from the Epstein files. Like,
clearly.
Hey,
nice America, we don't do that here.
Yeah, exactly.
Oi, what if we had someone say the N-word? No one's gonna be talking about Epstein
what's
then.
funny too was the beginning.
They
of
sure
the
edited
movie.
out the free Palestine, but they didn't edit that out. Oh yeah, we don't know how to do it
the second
anymore.
slur that was dropped. I'm like, why not the first? But you know what's funny too? I watched the movie, right? Just be like, the first part of the movie is him about to get knighted or whatever. He says, "Fuck the queen." Oh, sorry, and then he says sorry, and I'm like.
And then the queen laughed, right? I didn't
He could have been like N-word. Oh, sorry.
Well, I don't know. Calling the queen the N-word wouldn't hit the same way. No, there's
Ooh, my word.
one
Was
of
this
the
Naked
things,
Gun?
right? I
Thank
feel
you.
really bad
Naked
for that
Gun,
guy.
everybody.
One of the things is that the BBC's been following him since he was 16.
They've been trying hard to promote that movie, and they got
Yeah.
it. They really they went hard for this movie.
But like one of the big things is everybody in England has been following this guy's story since he was 16. Like that's one of the major things on the BBC, and they check in with him all the time. And it's like, so it makes sense. Like everybody in the BBC or like everyone in Britain is like, oh, like we know this guy. This guy has this problem. But in America, none of that stuff has ever appeared. I don't think
no one knew
Netflix
who this guy was or what this movie was
Yeah.
outside the UK. So it's like, what?
So he's like,
I think there's always at least one BAFTA movie that people are like, what?
Yeah.
What is that?
It's going to be an Oscar contender next year, so get ready for a viral moment, y'all.
Tuppence and Tea.
movie
What movie
where,
is that? I don't know. I never heard of this movie before.
Prince Andrew gets up and calls someone the
by
N-word.
the
You're
moon
like,
and
Prince
the
Andrew has
stars
Tourette's.
in the
Don't worry about it.
sky.
By the way, one of the
I'm
greatest
all for
Prince
one.
Andrew memes was this, like that thing when he's in the back, and it's the Mogwai Command.
Just like his dad, man.
But
I'm
it's
like,
like Prince Andrew instead of like the guy. I was like,
Yeah.
meme made just for me.
I called it the other day. I was like just spitballing, and I called him Andrew, the artist formerly known as Prince.
That's solid. That's solid. That's really good. Anything else, Kristina?
No.
You guys got
Besides-
Absurdity Space tomorrow, yeah?
Yeah, we're going to
We'll
talk about
probably-
State of the
we'll
Union
probably-
and
anything-
all this discourse.
You have just someone Tourette'ing the entire time.
Yeah, well,
I
you know,
should do it.
sometimes I just say the N-word. But no, there's
It's like that soundbite that Dan does, my N-word or whatever. That he posts on. And I'm like, oh, Jesus.
my N-word. Glenn Beck saying it.
All right. So Absurdity Space tomorrow. Scott, what do you got for plugs?
Yeah, none of that. But
Take us anywhere but there. please. Thank
but
you.
yeah, over on Big White Elephants, we're also doing Oscar stuff. We've been doing past Oscar winners this month. So this week's episode, we're covering Dreamgirls,
Ooh.
and then we're gonna do 2 weeks of this Oscar season. So we're gonna talk about Sinners and K-pop Demon Hunters. And my other podcast, This Is the Greatest Song I've Ever Heard in My Entire Life. We have
You
an
had
episode.
chaperone on that. I didn't know that.
We did, yeah, back in
Ah.
2022. Yeah.
But
yeah, we have a-
we had to go. Sorry.
Yeah, and yeah, she's the best. But we have a group coming on this week called Sybil. They're like a sister folk duo that make really cool, like ethereal, close, weird vocal harmonies and violin stuff. So like, we're
that's
really
cool.
excited to get into that. They
Are
talk
you
about
gonna-
the Johnny
Are you
Mitchell
going to
songs.
address Eddie Murphy's like Oscar snub for that year too for Dreamgirls?
Absolutely, yeah. We talk about Eddie Murphy and Norbit
just
and
leaving.
how that tanked his win potentially.
That's
and
right.
So
Jesus.
yeah, check all that out wherever you do those sorts of things.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
By the way, for those not aware, we are doing an after party tonight as we do an Oscar season. Scott's going to give us his Oscar picks. Friend of the show, Becky Rice, also
And I
coming
get to
on.
read them for you guys.
Yeah, thankfully.
Sure.
So we're going to have Becky Rice and Scott both
Yeah,
giving
read
Oscar
all
picks.
in
in
a,
after
all in a
party.
Russian accent. I didn't approve this choice. This Oscar season.
Best cinematography.
In Mother Russia, Oscar pick you. No.
Brady predicted that Sinners is not going to win Best Score. I'm like, but it's been winning Best Score for every other award though.
All right,
But
well,
they
we're going to
said
get
best
into it.
But
And the after party.
All right, Scott. Final thoughts, and then we can go to your after. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, Blue Moon. I love this movie. I loved it even more the second time I saw it. I think it's it's funny, but it's also like just really sad. I think the second time you feel more sad about it.
Mhm.
He's just a really tragic character. Ethan Hawke, career best performance potentially.
Mhm.
Incredible script, great time, great subject matter. I'm a 5-star on this one. So
It's like I feel like if they did a movie 8 months later of his life, it wouldn't be as like you're like, oh well, he died obviously, but it's like because it's that one night, because it's that crescendo of sadness. You know, man, the best movie, the crescendo of sadness.
Not a triangle of sadness, mind you. Just a crescendo.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's probably, you know what? You know how movies get shit with like different titles so people don't know? Imagine that being crescendo of sadness for this movie.
But yeah, well, that's like one battle after another was gonna be the Battle of Bacton Cross.
Yeah.
What the fuck is Bacton Cross?
Right, that'd be the first thing I ask. I'm like, huh? Where's that?
I remember.
Oh, Eureka.
I remember seeing it originally put out
it's
there.
Also somehow on the border.
They're like Paul Thomas Anderson's The Battle of Bacton Cross. I'm like, the fuck is this like some kind of Lord of the Rings shit I don't know about? Kristina,
it's right past Rivendell. I just like the idea of
final thoughts.
As someone who's a huge fan of the song Blue Moon,
as
someone who can hit the bass notes, that is right. My octave range is low, very, very low. I am a huge Broadway fanatic, huge fan of Rodgers and Hart. You know, obviously also, you know, Hammerstein, Sondheim. I love that this is like a very specific, like little moment in his life. If more biopics were like this specifically, let's do them all. Let's do the opening night of Cats, Frank Lloyd Webber, and everyone being confused on how that musical became a hit. Let's do more.
If there were more like that, they wouldn't be banned by the Geneva Convention.
Exactly. Like I said, we're getting 4 separate Beatles biopics where they all meet for like an Avengers, whatever the hell.
The Beatles will return and let it.
I mean, imagine Michael Jackson's biopic just took place during the creative process of the Thriller album.
Paul,
that's too much to ask for.
Paul, it's nice to meet you.
But but again, if it was any other year, I feel like this would have been like Ethan Hawke would have been a more serious contender for Best Actor, considering he's up against Timmy, Leo, Michael B. Jordan.
We'll get into it in the after party, but I do like that he was nominated though, because it's such a different kind of performance than those other 4. Right?
Well, he's kind of our Coleman Domingo in a way. Like
that's right. Yeah.
He's been here for a while and he hasn't really gotten his flowers
he's black.
Yet.
No, wait, that's not. No, but it's like somebody that like we feel like should get their due for this, and like
because of maybe in the Michael Jackson biopic he will get a Coleman Domingo will get a Best Supporting. I'm marking it now. Best Supporting Actor Coleman Domingo playing Joe Jackson in the Michael Jackson biopic. It's really good for the makeup. Anyway.
They're like, look, we're gonna give you Best Supporting for those contacts. Conan, final thoughts about Blue Moon.
Yeah, Best Supporting Corrective Lenses in a Serious Picture. Look, this is on the upper echelon of sitting around and talking trash cinema, right? I think it is absolutely insane that Richard Linklater did 2 movies this year, didn't write either one, and they're both amongst my favorites.
Who's he think he is? Yorgos Lanthimos doing like what 3 movies a year? Like what's going on? How are these directors just pushing out these movies?
In this movie, I do totally understand it with Nouvelle Vague and this because it's like
it took 15 days to film this one.
Yeah,
which is amazing. How fast?
Meanwhile, he's doing Merrily Roll Along for 50 years. Will he live?
If you average it out, you know. Anyway,
he's like, "Hey, I've been working on this film for 50 years."
I think it's this movie, Blue Moon. I think is a deeply compelling and well-written hangout movie. Ethan Hawke plays one of the great also-rans, has-beens, never was, ? And
more has-been biopics.
The sharp and concise screenplay helps a lot. And Linklater plays to like all of his strengths in this. And I think I love seeing films about people that are too smart for their own good. And Lorenz Hart is absolutely, not just an asterisk in every mention of Rodgers and Hammerstein, but absolutely one of those guys. Sassy, sharp, I love seeing people in movies hold court, right? And this is a great holding court movie as well. You get all kinds of like showbiz ennui and retrospection, but he secretly wants to reunite with his longtime partner. And you get to see him like talk all his trash and then basically throw that out the window just to try to get him back. And it's heartbreaking in a very specific way, which isn't to discount the actual heartbreak of the woman who will never, ever, ever be with him, but that he kind of wants to be as well as be with, which is fascinating. It's a great ensemble. Ethan Hawke, we said it right. Shines in a way that I think he's always great, and I've never seen him do anything like this before. And great. I'm really glad that we covered it because it's a very different kind of movie compared to most of the other Oscar contenders this year. Like I feel like this would be a movie that if it came out in the 90s or something, like would be like considered more of a serious contender. And,
the peak of the biopic, definitely.
But I think it's really good, and I think it was a great conversation, despite our many derivations. Episodes longer than the movie, but okay, that happens sometimes. And great having you on to talk about it, Scott. And
thanks so much.
Looking forward to getting into it in the after party where we go through.
So we're gonna be going over to the after party in a couple minutes here. Final 2 episodes of the before the Oscars next week, Begonia, and we have Josh.
We shave our heads on stream. Except for Forrest, because he's already bald.
Forrest got to jump on that.
I'll make sure to just raise.
I mean, only Emma Stone can rock a bald head. Again, she's got the bone structure for it. And I'm like,
I can't rock a bald. I can't rock. You're saying that?
No, not really, Forrest, because it makes your face rounder.
It does make my face rounder.
It makes my face like my short. That's why I'm growing out my hair because I'm like, shit. My
trying to back it out the rest of the month. You need to light them up on stream right now. Jesus.
I can't rock a bald. Vin Diesel can't rock a bald head. The Rock can't rock a bald head. You're saying it's easy? You think this is easy? Then after that, The Secret Agent.
With Zach Marsh coming back on for that. And Josh and I think Sean both coming on to do their Oscar picks next week in the after party as well. And then Zach coming on as well. And we are going to be doing our annual Academy Award live stream as well. So
and before the Oscars, I think maybe the Saturday night before the Oscars, we should do a watch party of Sinners, just because.
That's right, because we
haven't watched it. We
covered it that week.
There are people who still haven't seen Sinners in my community, and I'm like, we've watched it 3 times in my Discord already. What?
We're also at some point, I think before the Oscars, we got to do a roundup where it's like the ones we didn't cover.
Speed round, we did. That was fun last year. Yeah, that was.
So we'll figure that out. We'll figure out a date.
My F1 review will just be yeah.
So join us over there on the after party. We're gonna get Scott's Oscar picks and Becky Rice's Oscar picks and and the Oscar picks and everyone. Lorenz Hart's Oscar picks.